We represent in blue, yellow, blue, yellow, blue, yellow, blue. We represent in blue, yellow, blue, yellow, blue, yellow, blue. We represent in blue, yellow, blue, yellow, blue, yellow, blue. We represent in blue, yellow, blue, yellow, blue, yellow, blue. And listen, anybody excited? Is there anyone excited? I am so excited. I picked up this flag this evening and I just felt this joy came in my heart from way down in here, man. This joy, this joy, this joy. Listen, all over Barbados, I'm people saying, listen, we're listening in, Marcia, we're listening in, you know. And tomorrow is a great day. Tomorrow is a great day. Tomorrow is a great day for Barbados. If you're hearing me clearly, let me know. If there are any issues, let me know. But tomorrow is a great day for this country. You know why? It's a great day for this country. It is a great day because Bajans are coming together. Bajans are coming together. It is a great day. Listen, I got the final permit today that I told you we needed from the police. We got it today. And guess what the police told me, Wayne? And Mr. Maximus and Mr. Blackman and Ramin. Who's Ramin? Listen, you know what the police told me? They said, Mom, this permit, the day after you brought this letter here, this permit was approved the following day. But it just so happened that the person who was supposed to deliver it to us was not able to be at work, so we were calling and calling, and I only got it this evening, this about after 1 o'clock. And they said it was approved, Natasha. They said the permit was approved from a day after, because guess what? The police went back and told them that the crowd was so well behaved. They said, Mrs. Weeks, you guys not gonna have any problems with us. You see what I tell you all? You see what I tell you? The police, remember, their pensions affected too, you know? Yeah, their pensions affected too. Yes, it will be a great day. It will be a great day because Barbadians are going to be walking side by side, hand in hand, and they will be fighting together. There is one focus and one purpose that they're coming for tomorrow, and it is tell them, pull back that bill. We are not accepting it. There is no retreat. There is no surrender. You see this? We should be proud of this flag. Proud of this flag. Be proud of your Bajan flag. Tomorrow, you bring a Bajan flag from home. Tomorrow, 10 o'clock. You bring a flag from home, or you can purchase one where the truck driver is selling flags tomorrow. Nothing to do with us. We're just promoting him. We're just promoting a brother. So he's gonna come and he will have flags. Bring the children, bring grandma, yeah, bring everybody, or put somebody in your car and come down the road. And don't let anybody say to you, well, they're not listening. One of the police said, man, I like what you're all doing, but are they listening to you? Yes, they're listening. They're listening. You know why I know that they're listening? And they're scared too. They're very well scared. Did you see the newspaper today? That's fear tactic that they're trying on people. Did you see the newspaper today? You see this thing now? Yes, I'm seeing this. I didn't even get to see the papers today. My day was spent somebody telling me about this. You guys need to send me, if you can send me a WhatsApp with this information. Hi, Winston. Good to see you, Winston, man. Come on tonight, no? We miss you, Winston. I know you're busy doing some things there. Somebody says, have you seen the fall in Barbados today? No more ease. Private sector wants to ditch the social partnership, having to reap the sweets. I have not seen anything because, listen, when it comes on to getting these permits and getting everything done, I do it myself. I'm serious. I go to cost cap myself to make sure we're covered because one thing I don't want, as I told you, I don't want to put anybody in harm's way. I want to make sure that I read the permit myself. I hold the permit in my hand, right? Because Mr. Franklin is very, very busy, and I go on his behalf, and I hold that permit. You understand? I go to NCC. I make sure I have them because once I have my permits tomorrow, I will have everything out there. So when the police comes, I can show them. I like that. Yeah, we do everything above board. So I didn't have any time to see any newspaper. I just rush home and I literally turn on my computer, and go went quickly to come on because that is what I was focused on all day to make sure that we had the permits. Everything is in place, not just word of mouth, but that we actually have it. So those of you, anybody who knows about this, I want to come on and talk to me about it. Please do come on. Winston, feel free to come on. I sent you the link. Come on. Tomorrow is a big day. And, last night we talked about Ryan. Good night. Last night we talked about the Montgomery bus protest, right? The Montgomery bus protest. And that protest took how long? Who remember? Who remember how long it took? Huh? How long did it take? I'm not answering. I want somebody. Come on, we're good students here. I see I'm looking by my book. How long did it take? How long the Montgomery bus protest? How long did it take before they got what they wanted? 381 days. So do not let your family members and other people say, "Oh, you're just going down there in the hot sun doing nothing." You're going down there in the hot sun and you're going to do nothing. It took them 381 days, 13 months. 13 months, Mr. Maximus. What is it that we want? Are we serious about what we want? That's the question. Are we going to make, a little time pass and we say, well, we can't bother anymore. Or how serious are we? They want you to stop. They expect you to stop. But this is a different kind of Barbados. You let them know that. This one is not political. Yeah, this is the people asking for the age of retirement to be at 65. Eligibility remains at 500 contributions. Are you convicted about that? Are you convinced and convicted about that? Politicians and citizens to be on par with respect to retirement age. More compliance officers to be employed to ensure contributions are paid. Government pays back the money owed to NIS. Did you hear? This is what somebody messed up my train of thoughts there. But do you remember this one I saw where this economist or advisor saying that if the country were to pay back the $1.3 billion in the NIS, that the dollar would devalue? You believe these people with these fear tactics? You believe that after all the billions that Barbados owe, and have to paying back the NIS is going to cause the dollar to devalue? You believe them, Alvin Bab? You believe that this is what they are doing, trying to put fear in people's minds? And because they say that the people are not going to come out today, this is all part of the plan. Fear tactics. Yeah, as though we don't understand. We understand Listen, there's so Barbados is one. I mean, it's so the GDP to debt the debt ratio to GDP ratio is I mean it's I think it's the second in the world. So don't come and tell us this nonsense about if they were to pay back the money that the dollar would devalue. You think you're talking to idiots? You think you're talking to idiots? Listen, we're asking for government to identify the leaks in the scheme and fix them. Government to go after defaulters. Regular audits to be conducted. Systems be put in place whereby the government cannot use funds. NIS be placed into the central government and not under the absolute control of the minister. Systems be put in place to help micro businesses file their contributions. That the NIS bill and the pensions bill be withdrawn. Huh? That's what we are asking. Exactly, Heather. They should have thought about devaluation before they wrote off the NIS bill. And I see Mr. Caswell is on, and he's setting up, and we're just waiting on him to come on. Listen, listen, guys. As is this Mr. Straker? Is Ricky Straker the same gentleman who educated us so well on the truck yesterday last week? I hope he comes back. I hope Caswell gets him back. I don't know if it's the same Ricky Straker. Uh, I hope Caswell brings him back. Alvin Bob is saying perseverance, stand up for what is right. Mm, yeah, and I tell you, yes, a pleasant good night, Monica. Hope to see you tomorrow, Monica. Mm. They think we're foolish talking to us about devaluation, huh? You think we're foolish? What do you think? What do you think we're foolish? Nonsense, scared. And people asking me today. I was in town. People say, you think it really gonna make a difference though? That's what people saying, you know. Let me see if Mr. Franklin is ready to come in. Yeah.
Yes, good night, Marcia. Good night, everyone. I'm very happy to be here again tonight. But I must warn you, I got warned today. Somebody told me as well. You got to be careful. You attack a man who can be next Chief Justice of Barbados. They were telling me about Dale Marshall. He's slated to be the next Chief Justice because the current Chief Justice is going off. He's going to be 72 and can't extend any further. So they tell me now that word out that Dale Marshall is going to become Chief Justice. Lord help us.
Well, let me
Yeah,
tell you, you had me laughing. I went up into town today to get we got all the permits. I don't know if you heard everything. The police
yes.
actually told me, that from the 14th, today is the 18th, and from the 14th, that permit was ready. He said, Mrs. Weeks, listen, the thing was ready from the 4th. I brought it in the morning of the 14th, and it was ready from the 14th. That's the fastest permit that we've ever gotten. I didn't realize the permit was ready by the evening. By the evening, the thing was brought in the morning, and the permit ready by the evening. I tell you all, listen. So when I was up there today, and so I didn't get to see a lot of things, but I was in town walking up and down, and I remembered last night, and I burst out laughing. People might say think I'm mad, because well, you had me cracking up, man, yeah, last night.
Well, I don't want to do that, crack you up. But everything is verifiable truth. You know, you
Yeah.
see, I would not rely on any economic forecast or anybody who walks around, anybody who is a professor from Gresham College, um, to give me any economic forecast or tell me anything. I prefer our homegrown. Well, he's homegrown too, but I'm talking about somebody who actually earned theirs. So, do you know about Gresham College? Gresham College is um, an institution in London. It named a
Mm-hmm.
college, but it does not have students and it does not issue degrees or certificates or anything like that. What it does,
Hmm.
it was set up in 15 something. Is that 1597 to
Mm-hmm.
bring new learning to the people in London. And so only the public lectures. It took about 104 a year. If you go there and you give a
Mm-hmm.
lecture or two, next thing you know, you're called professor from Gresham College, but it's only an honorary thing. And you people walk about the place calling themselves professor, 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 and then want to come and give us economic forecast. So what happened to our professors? What happened to Michael Howard, who really earned his professorship? I prefer to listen to him. I'm not a born and paid for a professor. You know, so ignore these people with that nonsense telling you what want the dollar will devalue. The only body that devalue the Barbados is the Barbados government. Our dollar is not floated in any markets; it is fixed, and the government determines where it is paid. When the IMF wanted us to devalue our dollar, Sanford said no. Oinawa said no. Tom Adams said no.
Mm-hmm.
So don't mind these people in the foolishness. Find another way. There's more than one way to skin a cat, they tell me. I've never tried myself, but so you walk about people trying to frighten you and talk about we save the dollar. Not they save nothing. Don't let the people. Beggars can't be so naive, you know. And for a man who walk about calling himself professor until he was caught, you really want to listen to somebody else? Well,
So what would be his motivation?
he
What?
is working for the government. He was working as a consultant with Paradise.
Mm-hmm.
He, some of the money that is lost in the scheme went through him and out. So he has to justify it and has to pretend now that, oh, if we do that, we will um, cause the dollar to devalue to scare people. We are not stupid. Come with something else. That work already. Forget that now. Let me come on and try something different. That's what I'm asking them to do. But I and try something different. This time, try the truth.
Hmm.
Tell us the
But I
truth.
mean, when you see this comment on Instagram, people seem to really believe him. I'm seeing this thing has
But
156 likes.
if if people believe him, they either like him or they don't know any better. First of all, I would want somebody that give me advice to be credible. I do not know that he is credible. From the time you're walking about calling yourself professor, mind you, there are a lot of people who have doctorates that you get from university mills in the United States that you can't use anywhere, but you're walking about. They call themselves doctors of divinity and doctors of other kind of thing, and they only
Mm-hmm.
send in a fee. So that don't make them learned. I remember I had a guy who would walk around the place and call himself Doctor This and Doctor That. And then at a meeting with him one day at the Labour Department, the, the Labour officer keep referring to him as Doctor. I said, listen to me, he ain't a damn nurse. Doctor what? Let me tell
Listen, it's too early. It's too early. Tell me that again. Tell me, he's a
you.
nurse walking around and calling himself doctor.
No, I said he ain't even a damn nurse. Doctor what? No, yeah, they're bowing and scraping because he called himself doctor. I see the damn doctor. Because
Oh,
when you get a title, people start thinking that you know a lot.
yes.
They know nothing more than anybody else. I told the labor officer, man, I said, this is me, Doctor What? He ain't even a damn nurse. Since then, I think he bet and somehow got one, but in those days, years, was walking around calling himself Doctor This and Doctor That. So I don't mind the doctor. You must be credible. You must be, and when you get a doctorate, you must get it based on learning and work in your field, not necessarily somebody who go and people assign one to you. And then you want to use that to fool people and give people the impression that, and get people to quote you because you walk about call yourself professor. Ah, nonsense. Well,
Well, at least the DLP the DLP president for right now, DLP party, they hit back and they said it's foolishness. Foolishness. DLP says of the reason given for not paying back NIS debt. That was in the newspaper today. I don't know if you see it.
no,
You saw it.
today I was in meetings again, so I didn't get a chance to read the papers yet. I I will. I want to see. I want to hear what they said. I want to read what they said because they are now coming out, but somebody gonna force them out, because they are hoping that this government fall and it fall in their laps. They're not. They seem not to be prepared to do anything
To
to take it.
fight. Correct.
Huh? Now they're gonna get up and fight. They're gonna get up and fight like how the last administration fought against them. They're gone out
Agree.
there and watch the current prime minister slice them up into little pieces with the help of the merchants in Bridgetown, help to pull down the last administration. I am not saying that they shouldn't come down. All I'm saying to you is that the people who wanted them down had ulterior motives. Because the Democratic Labour Party government at the time was they had money, they were making exorbitant profits, and the government decided they want some of it, but they want to keep all. And this party come into power and take the burden off of the people who can bear it and put it on the poor. And the poor walking about in red t-shirts. Well, more power to them. It's amazing. It's amazing how Belgians allow themselves to be duped. But
Why you say that?
No, I don't. No, you see, there you can see everything with your two eyes. You don't have to be any Einstein to realize that these people trick you. But then they went back to the pause and trick them again. You don't have to be. Look, there. I will not stop talking about the tax on water. Everybody in Barbados, when from Tormadon down, they were taking the burden of taxes off of the poor. But when you earn certain amount of money, that was tax free. But then you don't pay a tax on income, but they make you pay tax on something else. So the taxes started going on the people who can least afford it. Even like VAT. People think that VAT is a good tax, which is rubbish. Because, so let me give you an example. You earn $100 a week. But let me go more realistic. $400 a week. I made $4,000. Not that that's the case, but just as an example, of course. I made $4,000.
Yes.
When I go to the market to buy something, anything, a bottle, and you go to the market to buy an oxygen bottle, express the value of that bottle over your $400 as opposed to my $4,000. So I am paying a higher percentage of my money in taxes. You see, so a guy who's making $10,000 a month, he can afford to pay the 17%, the 17.5% on these items.
Right.
It does not factor into his income so much. But a guy who is making, and there'll be a lot of people who make $400 a week, unless.
Correct.
And they have to buy the same things. So you are paying a greater amount of your income in taxes than the people, even though they might be buying more stuff because they can afford more. But percentage-wise, you are paying. So the government over the years have started shifting the tax policy that existed at the borough to exempt the poor, to exempt the poor from taxes and let the people who can afford it pay the taxes. Now it is going the other way around. If you
Mm-hmm.
have 10,000 poor people and you make them pay taxes, it will add up. And then the four rich people that you got hang out pay none because the poor people pay the
Mm.
taxes already. And that is what is
Mm-hmm.
happening in this country. And then when you have the poor people just working to pay taxes, they don't have any savings, they don't have anything. The only thing they have is a job and the poor from the next week, paycheck to paycheck. So they can't save. You make them a little bit better than slaves. What do you expect these people to do now? Go to national insurance. That's the only place they can go to get their pensions in the later years. One time they used to put in the arms house because the Barrett came up with national insurance and thing, and at least give people some sort of independence. A lot of them stay in their own homes because then they can afford. Because Barbados, most people when they were young worked on plantations,
Mm-hmm.
to work in the
Right.
field. So from the field to the arms house, that's what it used to be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Barrett, Barrett changed that. I know we want to change it back. We want to have back rich and poor because this government is destroying the middle class of
Middle
Barbados. The middle
class.
class was
Wow.
created by Alvaro, and it was a deliberate policy to create a middle
Mm-hmm.
class. It wasn't something that just happened. It
Mm-hmm.
was a deliberate policy to create a middle class,
Mm-hmm.
and the middle class then became bigger and bigger and bigger, and and then they started living in big houses too, like the rich people. They want to stop that. They start to live on the coast. They want to take the coast from them now and get the foreigners. They want to give it to defense force. They want to do everything else. These people ain't got no shame at all, at all, at all. They have no ideas. So they get the ideas from overseas. And the people who are overseas that are telling them what to do in Barbados does not have Barbados interests at heart. They want to see how best they can use Barbados to get what they want. Barbados is supposed to be for Barbadians. I
Hmm.
don't want to live anywhere else. And I can't. I don't want to live
But
anywhere else.
the way it is going, I mean, you heard the prime minister said that even where the defense force, they're going to move them. So a historic building like that is going to be turned into a hotel. Am I hearing that right?
Listen to me. I was a soldier.
I
The
didn't know that.
Well, there are a lot of things that people don't know about me.
You don't want to hear that Caswell was a soldier. Listen, I was talking to one of the police today. They said, "Man, Caswell Franklin, I love that man. I love that man. The people love you, man. I didn't know you were a soldier. That's why you're
Yes,
so no nonsense. Wow.
I
Continue.
don't know. I think I got that from my mother. And that Defense Force headquarters, that used to be, you can go into the caves under there. There are lots of tunnels and stuff under there that anybody occupying that land, there could be a threat to national security if they occupy that place. That place must always remain in government hands because look, when the British built it, they built it so people could get off the beach and go and stand up on the garrison.
Mm-hmm.
Garrison out with garrison, up with light and power. You got all kind of um, tunnels and walks under there that have been closed off for years. People know rediscovering them. When I was a young
Yes.
cadet, they won't last to go in, they won't last to go in because you can get lost in there. And they always have them under heavy lock and key. You cannot put something like that in the hands of non-nationals, people who do not have our best interests at heart. Mind you, I hear people talking about it would be good for tourism and all kind of nonsense. Sometimes just everything into for tourists. I remember when I was a
Hmm.
young soldier, I was a lance corporal then. We had some people came into Barbados on a ship. I was guard commander that night. And these people tried to breach the defense force headquarters. Mind you, I hit them in my butt, my rifle butt, put them down, and then and call the police. But they were trying to see how they can get in. but we were vigilant. I was a young little fella, and just want to do everything right. And of course, young guard commander, probably one of the youngest I had because I was just over. It was a little boy. I joined the regiment, Barbados regiment, when it was before it became 16, but I could not get a number because I had to wait until 16 to get a number. So when I used to go on parades and stuff, they used to call me Cadet Franklin. I was,
Hmm.
but as soon as I got 16, I signed that. I signed on the dotted line and got a number. And these people don't know anything about it. I mean, as a matter of fact, I am one of the people that saying that you don't need this monstrosity that we call the Barbados Defense Force right now. What we need are more police.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yes.
instead of having soldiers who just sit down and shine boots when the day come. Yes, of course, have a core of people who can handle riots and do ceremonial parades and all kind of stuff. But you do not need a defense force to be out there. As a matter of fact, it is contrary to law to have soldiers out there unless they are called out by the president or the governor general. Recently in Parliament, the Prime Minister gave herself the power to call them out too. That happened when it was in the Senate. It went past, and people really didn't realize it. But because once only the president or only the governor general could have called out the army. And what they used to do, it was a corrupt system because they used to give the chief of staff permission to work with the police for 6 months, and then after 6 months they renew it. They were only intended to be called out in aid of the civil power when the police were unable to handle the situation. Not when you have police handling the matter. You don't need the defense force, but they want to desensitize you to have the soldiers on the street so it become normal. Soldiers on the street should never be normal. They should be on the street when there's a situation where they're rioting or they're quality riots because the police can't handle it. And then too, they are subject to the directions of the police.
Right.
But we
But she went
desensitize.
ahead. She went ahead and but I don't understand. So you're saying, I mean, there's nobody there in Parliament who would be who knows the law, to be able to say to you, but you don't have the power to do
But
that.
but
You know.
but the prime minister they did an amendment when they brought Shirley out of retirement and made him commodore and then chief of staff of the defense force. A fellow who was too old. He was
Mm-hmm.
too old. My schoolmate, he was too old to occupy the position. He was past retirement age, and they went in and changed the retirement age to make sure that their man was in control of the army.
This is serious. Somebody here,
It
you
is
are
very
saying that we
serious.
need more. We are saying we need more soldiers, more police. This person said the government has recently recruited 50 new graduate police officers. It was on the news. Have you not heard?
50 is scratching the surface. They want 200. They want 200. So what is 50? And then you have a lot of policemen getting old and retiring, going home and tell you something. The police, the way they treat them and the way they pay them, because police are poorly paid in Barbados, you are not going to go out there and put your life on the line for the pittance that you pay a policeman. So when the police get the opportunity, because we got a lot of bright young men and women in the police force, people
Mm-hmm.
who have master's degrees and all kind of stuff, but because of the job opportunities in Barbados, they join the police force because they can't find anything else. So when they see something that fits them, they go. So when the
Right.
50 that they just recruit, it's only for them back some. First of all, let me go back to the old days. One time, what the police used to do. Police is a paramilitary organization, and this is how military and paramilitary organizations work. You have an officer corps, the intelligentsia, and then you have people at the bottom. The people used to refer to the soldiers that get shot down as cannon fodder. The generals and things just stay in the back and let the fast go up front and get shot. But what you do with, I mean, you're recruiting police and sort of that kind of thing. You make sure the people are literate and they can be trained and trainable. And you take them and you teach them what they need to know. This decided that the police gonna know everything, just as qualified as school teachers, just as qualified as everybody
Mm-hmm.
else. So if you can be qualified as a school teacher and get 30 weeks vacation a year, you can go there and put your life on the line. When you get this year, you can become a school teacher. Policemen used to be people who,
Mm.
in the old days, were not qualified, but they were good policemen because a lot of those same policemen who were not qualified in the old days, when they started in the force, worked their way through the force, studied as they were working, and then some of them end up as commissioner, some of them end up as all kind of things. Some of them even turn and become lawyers. But
Mm-hmm.
you don't want you want to bring in people, without give them those higher qualifications, and then don't want to pay them. So what you expect the police going to do? Leave? I would. What if I went to school with a fella? He didn't know better than me, and then all of a sudden he is working in some place. He getting $3,000 a month. I get 2,700. What are you gonna do? I can leave.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try to get the
Mm-hmm.
3,000. So when they try to manipulate the police force, they didn't understand what they were doing, and they put the police out there now, where the police can compete for almost any job in Barbados because these fellas are very well educated. You don't got the taxi policemen now. When one time I tell the policemen were intelligent, yes, and trainable. But now you have fellas that are intelligent and trainable and qualified
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
anything.
Mm-hmm.
So you have policemen who can live. I was speaking to a policeman a few years ago in Parliament. If I had a master's, he died in Parliament. He had a master's degree. What do you expect? And then the politicians come, and you have a fellow who can't even read, and you paying him $7,000 a month to come to Parliament every Tuesday, and then giving a whole bunch of losses on top of it. And then you think that is fair?
Right.
And then the policeman has to work now to 68, and those fellas have got to work to 50, and then they feel like they can hold on a bit longer. But they're gonna get the pension for going home. A policeman go home at 50, go wait to 60 something to get the pension. So it is nothing fair. So the policemen can stick around. I don't blame them. I
You
don't
know,
know. Go
somebody
ahead, sir.
here, somebody here, saying what can be done to prevent the government from selling St. Anne's Fort.
Nothing can be done to stop the government from selling St. Anne's Fort other than an election.
Other than an election. Did you all hear that, guys? Other than an election, because honestly, I mean, a lot of these things that we remember we did the show, guys. It was 2 nights ago, and we saw all the areas in Bridgetown for sale up to up to the government headquarters. They wanted all of that's gonna go. So if the Bridgetown that we see right now will not be the Bridgetown, if they have their way, it's not going to be what they have on the paper there. It's going to be totally different. It's not going to be for us. That's just it. And this woman, this government, they are just going right. I mean, it's almost like bulldozers, and they are just all these buildings they're gonna go, and all of the heritage sites, they're gonna go because they believe that tourism. I'm trying to figure these people. I mean, if you look at even just our numbers, the numbers are so low with tourism. And but they put all of the eggs in the one basket. It's all about tourism.
Now, don't get me going on tourism. I represent a lot of people in the tourist industry when they get into trouble. And sometimes to get into some trouble for some silly little things that don't really matter, and they treat them very badly. These people, like for instance, I can call Sandals' name. Sandals treat their staff like dirt and terrorize them and tell them they can't join unions. People frightened to join unions at Sandals because they will lose a job. They come down here and they bring people in and pay them top dollar and then unfair our people. Then other hotels in Barbados, right now, people who used to work in the hotel industry in the 70s made more money dollar for dollar than people today because they used to get this good service charge. Now the hotels steal the service charge. They steal the service charge because the service charge
Wow.
is supposed to be added to the bill and then divided among the people who do the service. Like for instance, the people who cook, they will get more points than the people who serve because the people who serve get tips as well. So the tips plus the service charge will push you over. But the fellow who in the kitchen washing pots, he ain't gonna get the tips. So his service charge point should be higher. Now the hotels in Barbados, they challenge them to the neck. Take the service charge, but when the government introduced that tax wrong, I can't remember what it was a tax on the hotels. But hotels were saying, but we already booked our rooms and stuff for these people. So they took the service charge away from the workers and paid the tax. They pay the tax for the service charge. And then they're going to pay the managers the service charge more than they pay the people who actually doing the service. And if a glass break, service charge.
Wow.
Pay
This
the
is like
service charge.
slavery. It's slavery. And this is what our government, this is what they're propping up. And you know, I did my little research when I did the film on Barrow, and I realized that not much, Mr. Franklin, has been done in terms of diversifying our economy since, you know, tourism. There hasn't been much. I mean, Barrow is one who really, brought, made it something that we could really benefit from, and formalize it, and did all the developed the product, or tourism product. He played a very, very important role, but we haven't done much. Since I saw somebody saying that coming to Barbados is so boring. It's a tourist that goes to different countries. It's boring. All he comes to do, goes to the beach, and that's it. We have not developed our product, but we are now going to take our historic town, Bridgetown, and make it into just a place of hotels. I don't
No,
understand.
but then what happens? Our people become maids, room attendants, they call them now. Um, People who serve the jobs and management level, for the most part, go to non-nationals. The only hotel in Barbados that had a history of putting non-Barbadians in the senior management positions at all levels was Elegant, and that is now sold. And the expatriate managers started to come back. Colony Club got a fellow down there, so I can't remember the name, but difficult to call, and so they started to bring back the because I think what they call it, Marriott's bought it. So Marriott's is
Mm,
bringing in mind you, it was being run around successfully by Barbadians, and for the most part, black Barbadians. They have taken
mm,
over. I know the black Barbadians are being relegated to the menial jobs or the management level jobs that like lower management. So that's what we want. That's what we want for our people. Even the sous chefs, Sandy Lane, where the sous chefs come from, all overseas.
mm-hmm.
They're general managers. I had one local one, I think, and he was a white fella too. All of them come from overseas, and they treat the people like dirt. I go down there and They even brought an HR man from Egypt.
What?
From
I'm
Egypt.
telling you.
Not the current HR person is from the United States, but the one before her was from Egypt. They have no regard for Barbadians. And they treat the people down at Sandyland like dirt. And people say, oh, Sandyland what? Sandyland is a slave place. Is a old
Slavery
slave
all
plantation,
over
right?
again. Slavery. And look at what our black governments are doing. Look at
But
what they're
they,
doing. They're gonna fill Bridgetown with hotel for
I even
tourists,
had a
and forget all
situation.
about Black Barbados.
I even had a situation where one of the managers at Sandyland saw this young lady, and when she turns around, there's an ample thing behind there. And had he had wild, he contacted her on Facebook. The idiot changed his name, but didn't change his picture. And tried to hook up with her. Next thing you know, when she said no, she looking for work. That's what one gonna prostitute our young women.
Mm-hmm.
I challenge them to do
Mm-hmm.
that, and they don't want to pay them.
Right. And this is boy. I mean, I'm
They they, they
saying,
took they took they took 48% cut in salary during COVID. I tell the people that don't like it, it's tough. They cut people's salary 48%,
hmm.
and the people went on and take it. Then you had bartenders cutting down bush to all go along home, and the Barbados workers, that represented most of them, said nothing because
Mm-hmm.
all of them met together. When they say when we in this together, it means we are get enslaving our people. So all the minute together.
Mm-hmm.
This word,
Someone wrote here, it says, yep, the economy is solely based on tourism, and most of the employment is in the hospitality services. Currently, everything is being reviewed, he says, to increase manufacturing in the Republic. But I want to say to this person that one of the things I was in the pandemic, I remember when they started to push this agricultural program to develop agriculture and so on, and I started to say, yes, I could work with this government. I could, I'm like, this is good, we could really turn things around here and diversify and cut our food bill, and I got involved in it, only to realize that the people weren't serious. They weren't
no, look,
serious. They weren't serious at all. I went and started my thing, and I'm like, hold a minute, what? They dropped it totally and went straight back to tourism. I said,
look,
oh my goodness.
look. Them is serious. Look, we have indigenous black belly sheep, and next thing you know, you got more black belly sheep in Texas because we export them. Now you want good black belly sheep because I got Ghana right now because we send them out there. We ain't serious about agriculture, nothing. So we lot of talk,
Hmm. They're
lot of
not
talk, talk,
serious.
talk, talk.
Not serious. They're not
And,
serious about it. They're not serious about agriculture. I can tell you that.
and the problem too is that the few people who are serious can't get the kind of concessions that they're looking for. The hotels got more concessions than you can shake a stick at, and they're looking for more, and the government gives them more. But agriculture, James Paul over there like crying in the wilderness, trying to get help for local agriculture. But the problem, I think,
Yeah.
also the problem is too with James Paul and agriculture, and but thing is that James Paul is them. So I don't care how hard you fight. It be a bicycle party and can make James Paul look good. So that is how insular we have become.
But let me ask you something, Mr. Franklin, and others can too. Let's be real here. When they were first elected, this government, I mean, there were just so many promises, and they promoted themselves as being the bright ones, and all these, all the different adjectives that went with that, and the accolades, and everything. And it's like there was this hope, we all had this hope that somehow they're going to diversify the economy, and they're going to, I can't believe I'm sitting here thinking about it. And you talked about us being duped. And I'm thinking about the fact that, it's 5 years and we have not seen anything. No, we have not seen any diversification. In fact, they have doubled down. They have doubled down on tourism. I mean, when you think of the kinds of people, when you look at on paper and look at some of their qualifications, and there has been nothing, no creative ideas, no nothing. They haven't implemented anything that would, you could say, well, that could stand up. They talk about the blue economy, the orange economy, the green economy, all these colors, and they come up with these buzzwords and all of these things, and we haven't seen anything.
Oh yes, we have. We've seen senior ministers that getting more money. You forget that, huh? That's what they say. It's about them. It's about feathering their nest. It isn't about what is good for Barbados. It's what good for who getting power. And they're finding every which way to put money in their pockets at the expense of the people about this place. So when you hear all that nice talk, it is called propaganda. That's what it is. And people believe it. And they hire people into Barbados and give them jobs. We got a guy now who is director of communications, which is a public service post. Didn't advertise it, brought him in here and gave him the job because he was the propaganda man for the Barbados Day Party campaign. And he's an national. And they brought him in here, and he is good at this propaganda thing. And then they turned around and didn't even pay him at the rate that the civil servant would have gotten had he been a Barbadian. They exceeded the limit for his salary and paying him, I don't know, on the water authority, but he's getting more than the post, because every post in the public service either has a fixed point, it's either a fixed salary or it's on a scale. His was a fixed point, but they pay him above the fixed point. Can't remember his name, but it'll come back to me. And the bottom of the thing was from St. Kitts. And of course, there were all kind of problems with him in Dominica and all kind of places. Remember I told you that she's so unlucky. She always finding people who have dubious background. Well,
she's unlucky. She's unlucky. They're very unlucky, as you say.
But that's what they do. They sort of take the money and pay it to their friends. They take it and become rich. I don't mind if there's a saying, a rising tide. Let me see. They say let me see. They said I try to remember the saying. A rising tide wears all ships. All ships they come up, when the tide come up, all ships come up. But what they are doing is putting a hole in the poor people's ships. So when the tide gets in water, when the tide rise, only water come in and sinking the poor people. Every opportunity for poor people, and then nobody stands up for them. We have a labor department. You think the labor department will go out there and get involved and trying to protect these workers? They get called back.
Why?
Why? Because the people got a lot of influence. And then they tell you, but one, or if you don't allow us to do this, we will shut our hotels. And people get scared. Shut the damn hotel. Somebody else will open it up. And then if you want to question, if you got an asset that you refuse to operate, then we will say, well, okay, we'll pay you and put a lesson, but let's run it. No. They then give the hotel industry everything they ask for. And then do not, like, for instance, when we had COVID and the hotels closed down, government gave the hotels money, and they said they're going to give them, they should pay the staff 80% of their salary, and the government will give them money. I can't remember the name of the program, but it bothered me. They brought the people on, and they had to do training. Rather than pay severance, they trick the people and tell them they can come in there, and then they give them 3 days at 80%. Or if they give them 5 days, they give them 5 days at 21 hours or 24 hours. Because if
Mm,
you if you lay me off and you pay and you I can claim severance if I get less than 20 hours a week. So they give 21 hours or 24. You had problems living on 40 hours and they give you 21. What are you going to do? The government
mm.
collaborated with the hotels to unfair these people, and then they cut back the time that you can claim severance. So now, from a year to 4 weeks. So when people decide, oh, this thing is working out, I'm going to claim severance, they have you too late. Government did that.
Wow.
They're going back to a year now. But another COVID, this government did everything possible to hurt the people who needed the most.
I tell
And
you,
then they
somebody.
give the hotels the money, and the hotels use the money instead of paying the staff to refurbish.
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
knew it. They
You
knew it.
know, you
The
know, some
Barbados Workers Union knew it.
this guy saying all of them bring down the wall, please, not only these ones. You're right, Mr. Brown. It is all of them. And this is why tomorrow it is so important. The representation is important. Barbados, wait, show them that you're not sleeping. You're alive and well. Show them that you understand that it's foolishness. This Prasad coming and trying to put fear in you that you know what, if you don't, if we pay back the money, then the dollar is going to devalue. We're not kids. It's time that we stand up to them. Look at what Caswell is talking about, what they're doing to the hotel workers. It's slavery all over. Slavery all over, and coming from the government, because guess what, they're not standing up on behalf of the people. You saying the Ministry of Labor wouldn't even do that, and then the people the hotel workers can't they can't join a union. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Franklin?
No, Sandals threatened the staff with joining the union.
Sandals, sandals,
Sandals in particular.
sandals.
The other hotels you can join, but they don't pay them anything. And I can give you a
Mm-hmm.
story. This happened years ago. So this is not new. When they first started Unity, a young lady who used to work with me at National Insurance, because I work at National Insurance too, she called me and said, Caswell, my cousin has a problem. The hotel that was here was at the time. I can't remember what you call it. And there, he's not in the union, and I want you to represent him for me. Would you
Mm-hmm.
represent him? I said, I will talk with him first. So he called me, and I said, he actually came to see me. I said, well, tell me what's happening. I said, I am not saying that you should be in my union, but you should be in the union to help support your brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You got to give me a good reason why I should represent, because you can't be out there saying down and getting the benefits from the union without contributing and being part of the whole thing. He said, Mr. Franklin,
Mm-hmm.
I work at this hotel. I'm some sort of sous chef. He said, and I see union officers come into the restaurant, order lobster and all kind of stuff. And all they do when they get up is to sign something and walk out. He said, then people can't represent me. I said, I agree with you. And I went down there and represented them and won the case. But the case was so tenuous. I said, you know something? These are trying to, this case don't make a lot of sense. They are looking to fire people and don't pay them, to send people don't pay them severance pay. So if they have dismissed you for cause you will get severance, these people are going to close down. I told them so. Or they're going to
Mm-hmm.
cut back on staff drastically.
Mm-hmm.
Within a month, they made an announcement that 10 people. But they were trying their best rather than pay people severance to find ways not to pay them severance pay
Mm-hmm.
and dismiss them for cause. Foolish nonsense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
they do. And they said, I'm not going to the union because the union people just come down there I believe him because right now, a hotel in Barbados, I'm not going to call the name, offer me the opportunity to come and I can get a room and all kind of stuff. And I tell them my wife don't like um hotel sheets, right? I don't,
So
I
they
don't
were
think
going to give you a hotel room for yourself.
no, they were giving me a room that I can come and have a room if I wanted to. I can come,
Oh,
I can come and have dinner and all kind of stuff.
mm-mm.
My
Don't,
wife
those
don't,
ones, careful of them.
so I told him, but my wife don't like hotel sheets. I give you a joke. One time, she and I we went to Miami, and when we got to the hotel room, my wife stripped the bed and put on her own sheets. So I can tell you that she didn't get to the hotel, and I don't know the boys who would want to go. So I
that,
couldn't take the offer.
that wasn't going to be a good gift for you then.
You know, no, what they would do? What they would do? They would got the camera stack on my picture, show everybody. You know,
Yeah, you
and
see that?
discredit me. On one minute, and that was the first thing I remember. I said, "These people trying to entrap me." You know,
Mm-hmm.
but they offer me all kind of stuff. You'd be surprised. I go to represent people and join the case, like the case adjourned to come back another day and during the adjournment period, I got a job offer. It happened.
Wow,
It happened at least 8 times.
you're serious.
I am very serious. They offer me jobs.
So the company that you are that the employee you're defending the employee, and the
Yeah,
company that employs that employee offering you a job.
yeah. At one case, I went in there and I did I thought I did a reasonable job, and the owner of the hotel called me and said he want to hire me because how I perform inside there. I said, but you got HR already. Tell me I'll find somebody else for him.
Wow.
He was going to fire that man and give me the job.
Guys, you see what I tell you about Mr. Franklin? You see what I tell you about him? And these are the people. These are the people that you need to pay attention when they're speaking to you, right? Because they are not attached. There are no strings attached to anybody. And I can tell you, none attached to me either. You understand? And none. Nobody can call up my name. That's one thing. They will not be able to dangle anything in front of me and I run and gone. You can they could come with whatever jobs. You hear what they're offering, Mr. Franklin? That's what we need, people with integrity and a backbone. Because very soon, Mr. Franklin, people say, you know what's gonna happen? Very soon the government is they're gonna call you into a meeting. What you going to do?
Look,
When they call you in and then try to shut down this movement, what you going to do? That's what people say to me.
when I first became a senator, people think that I know a lot about the public service and that I have one of the superior knowledge base for public service things. The government was proposing to have a a full-time chairman of the Public Service Commission. So we attended a meeting on the national security issues because the parliament was very brief.
Mm-hmm.
And I raised a couple of questions about customs officers because they represent customs officers as well. The Prime Minister turned at that meeting and offered me the job as chairman. And I said to her at that meeting, in front of the entire Parliament, House and Senate, Chief of Staff of the Defense Force, Commissioner of Police, Permanent Secretaries, all were there when she offered me the job. And I said, Prime Minister, while I agree with you that I would be the best man for that job, if I took it, they wouldn't have any good trade unionists left. You would go all.
You told
And
her
I laughed.
that.
Yeah, I told her that in her face, in front of the entire Parliament.
If you took the job, you told them that there'll be no good trade unionists left.
Left.
Oh my
She would go
God.
all. She would go
And what
all
did she
because
say? What did our goodly prime minister say?
I don't recall I was laughing too much. Because I don't think that she would believe that I would be one of those people who would sell out my soul. Why wouldn't sleep good at night?
Yeah, and that's what we need, guys, and that's the kind of leadership that is needed in this country. And a lot of people had that hope. A lot of people had the hope, that something was going to happen. They said they campaigned against corruption. I remember all of that, and now look at where we're at. Look at where we're at. The entire Bridgetown, they're going to sell off a majority of those buildings, including the government headquarters.
including
Look
the
at it.
geriatric hospital.
The geriatric hospital, the BDF site, the historic places, they're all up for sale. Oh, Barbadians, is this what we're all about? Is what this what we've come to? So you're gonna tell me I don't understand. I don't understand. I was saying to my husband today, what would Bridgetown look like? And Mr. Franklin, I'm trying to think about it.
Um,
So all,
Bridgetown,
huh?
Bridgetown would be Swan Street. Bridgetown would be Swan Street. They would leave us in Swan Street. Baxter's Road.
For
Um,
us, so we
yes,
will have to be okay. So
Baxter's
we
Road,
would
to the
Baxter's
street,
Road.
to the street, Baxter's Road, Swan Street, James Street, and Robert Street. That is the
Mm,
Bridgetown that would be left for the Barbadians.
there's nothing, Jacqueline, nothing left. I don't know how you feel as a Barbadian. I'm a what you call a naturalized citizen. I'm married and became a Barbadian, and this is even today. I'm driving. We are driving through Bridgetown, going to the police headquarters. I said, Dave, what will this place look like? And does that matter? Barbadians, are you concerned about that? Jacqueline is saying, what will be left in BIM once those things go? There's nothing left to sell. You would have seen the document that we showed you the other night, and what we're still saying. Somebody said, to me today, but she's doing the best that she can. But what about that, Caswell? They're saying that this government is doing the best that they can do.
Listen to me.
And
If you are doing the best that you can and your best is not good enough, let somebody else get a chance to do it. And clearly, they don't know what they're doing. So I am not here to hold them over so they can get their pension after 8 years and run down this country. They need to recognize that they are over there, the water is over their head, and their feet are not touching the sand. They are out of their depth, and they should recognize that by now. Everything they put their hands on, it's kind of reverse Midas. It's turning to gold. And you can tell me, oh, they're doing the best you can. If you had a doctor killing 80% of his patients and that he was doing the best that he can, would you allow him to continue? Think of those things. He is doing the best that he can, so you can't say, well, come there, but he's doing the best he can. He killed 80 or 90% of the patients. Oh, he's doing the best that he can. Let me get a doctor that losing 2%. I prefer that doctor because it's not a better chance to be in the 98%. But when you tell me that he's killing 98%, I'm in trouble. So these are the doctors of the economy, and they are killing off this economy. Get another doctor.
hmm.
That's as simple as this, You see,
so
Barbados love politicians too much. And these politicians ain't come down from heaven, but we worship them
mhm.
because they set themselves up as high and mighty. I was a member of the Barbados Labour Party.
How long
And I
were
was,
you a member of the Barbados Labour Party?
how long? I, I,
Hmm.
I joined the Barbados Labour Party just after I left school. And I left them when Oinasa was Prime Minister.
Why did you leave? Because people have said to me, "Oh, you have all of these ex-BLP people on." They accuse me of so many things. Ex-BLP people, you and Lynette, and then they say, "Oh, you have DLP people." Listen, it's such a small country, Oh, how you're not going to have BLP people or DLP people? But why did you leave? I don't want to take you off your train of thought. I'm
Now,
curious.
I left the Barbados Labour Party because they couldn't stand how they're behaving, especially toward me. Because I am a person, I was on the National Council. And I would say to them, but what you're doing is wrong. And then
Mm.
they would get attacked. I'm telling them in the environment where we are at our headquarters, and I'm saying, but look, they don't want to hear that. They want you to
Mm-hmm.
go ahead, like you are mindless, and go and agree with everything. I tell people that anytime two people sit down and always agree, at least one of them is an idiot. And I fancy myself, I got a little bit of brain, and I'm going to be using. If you do not want my input, don't ask me to come. But if you ask me to come, I'm going to tell you what I believe. I might be wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but listen to me. And that is where we follow because when you tell them, I remember one night, I'm in the yesterday now, when after came in, and everybody got up and started applauding and stuff. I was the only body left sitting. So everybody I said because he is not the prime minister of the Barbados, the prime minister of Barbados. He does not have any official position in here. So why should I get it? He has to. I'm an assistant secretary. He ain't got the post in here. So if you don't clap when they stand up, when they get coming, you should be clapping for he. And people thought that something was wrong with me. No. Then you stand up for the chairman when the chairman come. Nobody else. And I will hear things like, I'm taking the minutes. And then they me, oh, but the prime minister want these minutes. I said, but not in these minutes. I type, I write it. I had to tell him one night, let me do something. Your name is Arthur Queen, not King. Nobody then left you King. And he and I were for a lot of heads for that for a long, long, long time. He said I was
So,
mad.
so when you left the Barbados Labour Party, what did you join another party?
The only time I got involved in any other party was when I helped form the PDP.
Mm-hmm.
And that came about because Reverend Adderley, he was I met him when he first became a member of parliament. I was on the National Council and he came into the National Council meeting and that night Glenn Clark was chairing and the meeting was hot. And somebody and he asked me, these meetings are always so hot. Somebody said no. Ben Glenn is in chair, so if you keep it all over, but when now he was keep us his guys well. And he formed some sort of attachment to me from then. Because I would speak up, even when Arthur was there. And so when he got the opportunity to appoint senators, he said the first body he could think of was me
Mm.
because I was independent. And he told me then, speak your mind and vote your conscience. He said, don't worry about me. I can take care of myself. Even if you disagree with me, speak your mind and vote your conscience. So
Wow.
when people saw that he said something in the lower house and I disagreed in the upper house, because that is his instruction. He tell me, don't worry about me. I can take care of myself. You do what you think is right. Speak your mind
Mm-hmm.
and vote your conscience. And people will
Speak
curse
your
me because
mind and vote your conscience, and that is what is missing. Speak your mind, vote your conscience. Now we have all of these like little, dollies, and they're just following, just whatever is said. They're just following. They're not leaders. I love that. Speak your mind and vote
yeah,
your
and
conscience,
told
and that you
he
did.
told he told both Crystal and myself, speak your mind, vote your conscience. He might
Mm-hmm.
have a different opinion from me. He said your opinion might not be mine. Speak your mind and vote your conscience. That's why I have respect for him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He didn't
This,
he
this,
didn't
go
he
ahead.
didn't
Go ahead.
insist that I have to follow his line. What you believe to be so, speak.
Yes, yes, yes. That's why I know for me, I can't be in politics. I don't mind. I would serve, but I don't want to be in politics because I can't play politics. I'm going to have to. I have I have to speak my mind, and anything to do with poor people, I'm done with you. If I see you trampling poor people, I tell you, I'm done because I grew up in poverty, and I'm telling you, if I see that, I can't play politics. I can't. I'm telling you, I can't. Somebody here saying, Man, I messed up your train of thought, didn't I? Somebody says here, listen, Alvin, Mr. Brown, listen, and some Bejan, wanna can not the government for everything because no government is perfect, not one. And that's correct. Some of the things you're all saying here, I hope the government is listening because this is serious. I don't know. Is this what do you mean? Is this a threat or what? I don't know. I hope the government is listening so they could change or what? Alvin, but you want to respond to that, Mr. Stewart, Mr. Franklin?
Um, the government is listening because I can assure you, I spoke to a minister recently, and he told me, man, you were kicking air on the Marshall Big Show the other night. I listened to every word you said, so they're listening. But they are listening not to learn anything. They're listening for defamation because they want to sue. They don't want to be enlightened. I am not asking for angels. I want men of integrity. And the thing that bothers me is, integrity cannot be legislated. Even though we just passed an integrity and public life bill, it has to come from you, within you. And I don't ask a fellow to be perfect. People make mistakes. Lord knows I made a few. But when you make a mistake, acknowledge it and move on. Say, I'm sorry. These people get into office, they don't know what they're doing, and they're getting with the wrong crowd. Look at this government here now. The first thing they did when they came into office was to invite the notorious people, drug lords and stuff, into the state opening of Parliament. I didn't know that at the time when I got in and I saw these people. I didn't know them until I hear a couple of policemen complaining amongst themselves. And I have very good ears. And I pretended not to be listening to them while I was trying to do something. I was listening to every word. And I heard the policeman say, you imagine we're going to go and fight and work hard to lock up them and not be here protecting them? So when I heard that, I listened some more to find out that we had people who criminal records that the police still looking for on charges for the court before the courts. They were in Parliament. They got special
But can
invitations to
somebody
Parliament.
say that probably the government was trying to get them to reform them, or they know, is it something like they're in a reform program with the government?
They look reform to you.
I don't know. I'm just
These
wondering.
are the people that the government use to get elected.
Mm-hmm.
So when they get elected, now you can't turn it back on them because the first will turn on you. So you have to invite them to things. You have to give them contracts to build houses. Some of them don't know the difference between a 10-penny nail and a 6-penny nail, but they get contracts to make them look legitimate. But that's the only way to bank their drug money because now you can say what I get for my contract. So and so don't let anybody fool you. They involve themselves with the underworld to get elected. And they give them promises like legalizing marijuana so they can get that thing good. You remember? That's what they were promised. It didn't come about yet because they come with this medical marijuana nonsense. But they're still locking up fellas for a split.
So they trick them too.
Yeah,
They trick them too.
yeah.
Oh my
But
God.
they will find another mechanism to trick them again
Mm-hmm.
when the elections coming up. They will always find another way, and they will be duped, and they will go along merrily. They'll vote for them again, as they did the last time. And now I hear some of them saying they might vote again. I talk about young men in the 20s, early 30s. So they're already disillusioned because the promises that were made to them by these
Yes.
politicians, they're not seeing them because they thought that once they got associated with politicians, that their criminal activity will be allowed to flourish.
Wow.
This we are creating a little Sicily in this place.
Mm,
We are
you know,
creating a, rather than
you
give
know,
people opportunities. And
uh,
there's something I
listen.
want to say, right? They are
Hmm.
destroying the men.
Destroying the men. Who
Yeah,
is
the young men.
destroying the men? What do you mean?
This our society really is destroying men. Men are sperm donors and laborers. If you look at the public service, I don't care how bright you are as a man, it's hard for you to become a permanent secretary. And you got somebody who went and do history and something else at UE becoming a permanent secretary because they're female. And they have created havoc in the place. I don't hate women, I love women. I had 8 sisters. Um, that's another thing you didn't know. I had 8 sisters, so I don't have a problem with women. I have a problem with people who use womanhood to get by.
Mm-hmm.
And so they destroy the public service, they destroy everything. And we look, go to, and the thing is, the men like they realize it and they don't. Go to the past university and evenings, and you see who going to class. If you
Mm-hmm.
see 50 women,
Yeah,
you see
but
two men walking in behind.
you know, Mr. Franklin, did you hear? I know you were busy today, but I don't know if anybody else heard the new appointments at the BTMI. And my husband was listening to it and he said, but listen, majority of them are women. This is a BTMI that Shelley Williams is the
No,
CEO of.
I don't know who the new appointments are. I will read that
Yes,
tonight
they had new
after
appointments.
the
They have
show.
new appointments there. But back to your point. Sorry, I cut you off.
So men are just there, and as I tell you, all they want is a split, pants round the backside, lower down
Mm,
on the backside, and now they're giving them menial jobs and not paying the national insurance for them, all kind of stuff. And the fellas, as long as they get enough money to buy a split, they're happy. And then and nobody is doing
mm,
anything which look for the young men in Barbados. And that is one of the reasons why, because a lot of them are even failing in school because they don't have a lot of male teachers as um, role models, because a lot of our young men have single mothers.
mm-hmm,
So they don't know how to be men. And nobody teaches them. There's no example for them to follow. And
oh, wow.
the women are taking over. I don't mind people taking over because my mother was in charge of my household. My father was there and he was a good father too, but my mother was a disciplinarian, you know, and so I ain't got a problem with that. But we are de-emphasizing. If you go to the courts today with a problem with a child and you're a man, they treat the man rough. Man can hardly get access to their children. The the people who do the reports at the child care board, at the welfare department, at the probation and thing, mostly women, and they don't put it like men.
Mm-hmm.
Men in this country are even form an organization to to teach men how to be men. I hate it because
Mm,
that's what you learn at home.
right. Do you think having, I mean, it is great that we have our first female prime minister. I think that is great for women. But we also had our female president, and I went up to the hospital the other day and just saw the two pictures there on the wall. Do you think that that has affected men in this country
I don't
psychologically?
I don't think so, because um it isn't the fact if you are good at your job and qualified to do what you're doing and stuff. I don't care if you're a man, woman, hermaphrodite. I really don't care. It is
Mm-hmm.
just that these people who occupy these positions, some of them are not capable,
Mm-hmm.
and they're using womanhood to get by. Mind you, I
Mm-hmm.
saw a guy. This guy has he puts up some little things on his blackboard. He says the four most important positions in Barbados are held by women. President, Sandra Nelson,
Mm-hmm.
Prime Minister, Mayor Motley, Deputy Prime Minister, Sandia, and the the principal of Commerce School,
The principal.
of Commerce School. Four most important jobs of Barbados. Commonwealth will agree with you.
I'm lost.
Now, the principal of Commonwealth School, those
I'm
are what
trying
it,
to.
those,
I'm trying to remember, but anyway, I won't say anything about that. Keep moving.
no, you see, people think I'm a Commonwealth and went to Commonwealth and stuff, and
Yeah.
we big up Commonwealth everywhere we go and stuff. So even overseas, when you go overseas and you buy up a Commonwealth, you're treated like royalty. But
So
I
so
said
they put it.
we need more of that. What Commonwealths do for each other, we need more of that in Barbados. But people despise
Yes.
us
Yes.
because they call us a fraternity, they call us a lodge, they call us all kinds of things. But we just care about each other. You see, when you went to Combermere, we had men and women who didn't only educate us in math, physics, English, and all that kind of stuff. They taught us how to be good citizens,
Mm-hmm.
how to care for each other. And we had a guy there called Harry Seeley. He was not principal, but he was more respected than most people in the school. We had Charlie Pilgrim. I to this day I still owe this man. Died and married, you know. But we don't have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of male role models anymore,
Mm-hmm.
and that is the problem. And then our men get violent because, mind you, a lot of them flunk out of school and they don't reason. So the first thing that happens, they pull out a gun or a knife and stab
Right.
you
Get
over,
angry. Get
over a
angry.
simple thing that could have been that one time would have been a joke.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so the society is failing at all levels. Politicians have failed us. The young men have failed us. Everything is just going to hell in a handbasket.
Mm-hmm.
We need people who care about this country, who are willing to make a sacrifice. People who will stand up and be counted when it matters. Not people who want to get into politics, because we saw a lot of politicians in the early in the 80s, in the early 80s and 90s,
Mm-hmm.
who went and involved themselves in civic groups, not to help the civic group, but to become politicians down the road. But they get into these groups and then they make the step into politics pre-planned. It wasn't something that happened. It didn't like, oh, this
Mm-hmm.
politician, this one, let me get him. The plot. I don't call it plan. The plot their way to parliament.
Right.
They don't serve at the community level in the political party and stuff. They get to know the leaders of the party, and then they rush in there. And that's the times they got to say for them to go and join the bees, because I well remember the prime minister herself was a Dem, but then she could not get a seat to run for, because in 1986
That's a
the
lot of people
Democrat,
don't remember that, you know. I learned that from doing the movie. That's my my claim to any kind of history. Doing the movie about Barry, when I found out that she was well, she was a Dem.
right? Yeah, she
Yeah.
was, and that is why you never hear her speaking up about Donville or anything. So because they're good buddies. St. Clair looking for a job, they were all young Democrats together. So who recommends St. Clair for a job internationally? You see, but people. So this is not politics. No, this is friendship thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because when Barbados the party lost the government in '86, they only got 3 seats:
Mm-hmm.
Wayne Arthur, David Simmons, Henry Ford. The other 24 went to the Democrat Labour Party. So Mayor was looking for a seat to run in, but Sandy Ford wouldn't allow um, her to displace Leroy Brathwaite. The same constituency that she's in now, it had an incumbent, Leroy Brathwaite.
Mhm.
And of course, she wanted to run there. And when she couldn't run there, but the Barbados State Party wanted 24 candidates. The Dems only
Right.
wanted three. So she switched. And then
Not
you
a,
will,
to switch. It would appear. Did she switch on a matter of principle or because there was an opportunity? I'm wondering.
she switched because she wanted someplace to run. And the Dems didn't have a lot of places to run because they only had three vacancies. The Barbados State Party had 24.
You see, and
So
we are the. But you know what? I have to say this, Mr. Franklin. I have to say it as a Jamaican. Listen, this is where we look so foolish. We look so foolish, pledging allegiance to a party. My grandmother, my great grandmother, my uncles, my aunts, and you never change. And they are changing all the time because when I realized quite a few of them, they were this and then they were that. And you, us, and we did that in Jamaica, Mr. Franklin, and started started the F the what do you call them the CIA came, recognized what was going on and used that opportunity to have us killing each other over political party. It's only a couple years ago that has stopped in Jamaica. And we here, we're so politically divided. We're not thinking about Barbados. We're not thinking about the country. You would sit down and listen to a program like this and go away and say that it's political. Don't you hear the cries of the people and the cries of your sisters, your brothers? These are your people. Don't you hear the cries? You think that Caswell or myself, we are trying to get a political job or being in a party or to start some political party? No. What do you think we're getting out of this? It's time we wake up and understand that the very prime minister, she was a D and then she switched to B when she see a better opportunity or whatever, for whatever the reason might be.
but
The point, yeah.
they don't have a philosophy. Their philosophy is, I want a seat. That's the philosophy. They don't subscribe to any particular principles of what this party believes in. I think, I want a seat. I remember Kerry Simmons. He his family were beef. He saw an opportunity. Damn, he went out there.
Kerry
Then
Simmons.
yeah, then he ran in the party elections to become General Secretary and was beaten by a fellow called George Pilgrim. And he said, well, George Pilgrim should be able to beat me. He got vexed in a couple of beefs. So it wasn't even matter of principle. He just got vexed that he got trashed in the party elections. And he was the fellow who got up and cursed all the BLP women. And because the BLP women were, some of them were ample, he called them 1,000 pounds of blubber. And they hated him. And then he had to go and sit down with that same 1,000 pounds of blubber and squeeze up there and look shame.
Wow.
People forget.
And we are sticking to one party till we're dead. We're sticking to one party. We're so petty. We're sticking to one party till we're dead. I've been here. I probably voted 4 different ways since I've been here. I think I voted 4 times or 3 times. I'm not nobody going to. I'm going to look and see what it is that you're doing, right, and then make up my mind. And that's a problem. When are we going to focus on what matters? It is your country, your navel string cut here and bury here. You understand? This is your country, and this a blind man can look and see that something wrong. But because you are so partisan, you won't look, you won't see. And that's why I say to people tomorrow, they say that we are the ones, we're the ones on the fringe. We're the crazy people, and all kinds of names they give you. I see somebody on your call, you all been calling your names the whole time. You're just a complainer and all these different names that they call. Tomorrow, come out in your numbers. And the only way to deal with a bully, come and face the bully. And one of the ways you face the bully, Barbadians, is come out in your numbers and let them know you're not foolish. Your mother didn't born a foolish person. You're not an idiot. Jamaica, we say we're not idiot. You never come out of your mother womb, no idiot. where people take it for fool. Come out tomorrow and let them know nobody, you're not no idiot. This is nonsense.
You know that they say that I complain, but but ask the same people that say that I complain if I lie. If I'm saying things that are untrue, the answer will always be Caswell is telling the truth. So why shall I not speak the truth? Because it's inconvenient, you don't want to hear it, because it is not the truth that you want to hear. I have spoken favorably for all political parties when they did good, and I've criticized all of them when they did wrong. I do not shut up because I you went to school with me and we had the same political party that guys up. I had a very good friend called Dale Marshall. We went to school together. I criticized what he did because he was wrong. I didn't believe he's wrong. He knows that he's wrong, but I don't think we allow we're not very good friends anymore. Not am I doing I don't choose my enemies, they choose themselves. I just accept where you decide to stay. You know? And we were very good friends for years. But all of a sudden now, because I said, well, what he's doing doesn't make sense. And I didn't I didn't do it in any disrespectful way. I just disagreed. But because I am your friend, I must say what you're doing is good. That will never happen. Not while I am still in possession of my faculties. I must be able to say good job when you're doing a good job, and you're doing crap when you're doing a bad job. I have when I was in the Senate, sometimes the government did things and I said, yeah, they should be complimented for it. And then they would say, wait, can I support the government? No, I wasn't supporting the government, I was saying what they did was right. That was the 2 times they did something right. You know, it wasn't often, but when they did, I said, yeah. When they appointed the public officers and said, well, look, if you were in the job for all these years, your appointment should be automatic. So you're doing the job. I praise them for that.
I listened to you and I remember when they came into power, I said, you know what, we need to give the people a chance and support and all of that I was doing. And when I started to kick out against them on Facebook was what happened in the Easter morning. You remember that when they were it was supposed to be it was during the COVID time, and we were not supposed to be doing any kind of, no restaurants were supposed to be open. I don't
Yes,
even remember. I'm trying to remember the scenario. And
Deacon,
in Deacons, right now,
when Ross Aston had his place open for his birthday.
for his birthday, and he had a whole restaurant setting. Okay, now you have to remember, as a Jamaican, I grew up in tough areas, so I understand people hustling and so on. So what turned me in here, and my husband would tell you what turned me and got me very angry was when I read that they handed the phone to the prime minister, who then spoke to the police, and they were left to do what they had to do. I mean, all I could see was that this is turning into the politics that Jamaica is trying to rid itself of. Do you understand? And when I shared it with a couple of people in Jamaica, and they were shocked. They were shocked. They said, listen, that is a scary situation. Don't Barbadians understand that? When a known person of, I don't want to call the person a criminal, but I can't say that because I don't know. But when a person with that kind of track record, let's put it like that, would be able to take up a phone and call the prime minister, and that's a fact. I'm not saying anything that didn't happen. It was in the newspaper. And he was allowed to continue to break the law. Do you understand? To me, that was it for me. The gloves was off. I have no confidence in this government because I don't know if I come on here and I talk and casual talk if they will send gunmen to shoot us. That's serious. That's how I think about it, Caswell. When I come on here and I talk, I don't know with the kind of relationship that they could have with some of these people. I don't know. I don't know if that is what my fate would be, because I don't know. That is when I decided, if you go back and you check my Facebook and I started to write whatever come to my head, I was angry and upset and worried and said, what is this country coming to? And I said to Dave, I said, I'm about ready to leave here. I'm not, this is not safe. This is not going the right way. And you know what she said? Oh, you all don't want me to you are being what's the word? Discriminatory. You don't want me to mix with certain people. Right? No, that's not it. And that was a turning point for me, Mr. Franklin. That's it.
My
That was
my
it.
turning point came much earlier than yours. My turning point came when, as a member of the Senate, the Attorney General called me. We were good friends in those days. He called me and he said they want to amend the Constitution so that Rodham Adams and Keir McConney can be appointed senators, and they want my support. I said, I'm very sorry, but I think it is wrong, and I will not support it. That was our first falling out, because the Prime Minister wanted two people in the Senate that did not qualify, and she changed the Constitution to benefit two of her friends. Keir McConney, she had to be living in Barbados within the some 5-year period, and she was not, so she didn't qualify to serve in the Senate. Rodham Adams, he had citizenship of a non-Commonwealth country. He had citizenship of an alien country, because Commonwealth country people could hold citizenship. For instance, before the Constitution was changed, if you were a Barbadian and run in Barbados and a St. Lucian, you get St. Lucian citizenship, you can still run because part of the Commonwealth. But you couldn't get United States citizenship. You couldn't go to France. You couldn't go to that thing. And I understand Rodham had citizenship of France. So she changed the law. And how they did it, they appointed two fools to be senators for one day. Because when they refused, God able to give them the vote that they needed. Because they needed two votes from the people on the who don't support the government to get a constitutional amendment through the Senate. And when he called me, but I was too honest and too decent, because I could have said to him, no problem, I support you, and then vote against it. But I said to him, I was honest with him, I said, no, I cannot support it. I try my best to be decent with them, but they find decency to be a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Like when the day when I walked out of the Senate, the day when when they elected the new president, I could have caused all sort of problems because they didn't have any provision for the Senate to break out and go into session. I called them the night before and I said, listen, make provision for the Senate because I am going to vote no. But if everybody's going to vote yes, you didn't need a separate chamber. I called them. And I told them this is what I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. So I didn't try to catch them napping and make them look stupid. They make themselves look stupid by themselves. I don't need to do that. I was honest and decent with them. That is something that they find difficult to do. I don't see why I should try to deceive anybody. I tell them the truth. I'm not going to support it because I do not support the legislation that you put in place. because you passed your constitution in Barbados, and up to today, I'm in the hospital looking for a relative, and a man told me we don't have a constitution. I said, "Oh yes, we do." I was the only body in the Senate that voted against it, but it was passed.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, they didn't tell anybody anything that we were passing a constitution that day. So people um, didn't know. So when you hear people say, "Oh, there's no constitution," what they mean is that we didn't know that they passed a constitution.
Hmm.
And what they did, they took the old constitution that we got from England and made some superficial changes to it and put it right back and call it the
Mm-hmm.
constitution. That is the constitution we're operating on now. So when
Because
people say there's no,
somebody said, right, that's something that somebody said, asked last night. Can you say whether or not we have a constitution? Because that is all over the internet, that people are social media, with the situation with Patrick King, etc., and they're saying, but we don't have a constitution. But I'm hearing you say that we do have a constitution. It's just another thing that we just didn't know about.
it was passed in the Senate on the 6th of October 2021. And there was one dissenting voice, mine. And how they got the independent senators to support it. They built it as, "Oh, we are just trying to make a Barbadian the president." And of course, now you have the 7 independent senators who were appointed by the president, or by the governor general. And so when you tell them that if they vote against this bill, they will be voting against Andrew Mason becoming the president. So that is how the independent senators signed off and voted on it. And a lot of them didn't know, because when they said in the debate, "You realize you're passing a constitution and tell about anything?" I said, "You have no national pride." People on the other side said I was talking for just because they didn't even realize that they were passing a constitution that day. Members on the government side did not recognize that we were passing a constitution. That's how bad it was.
So
That's
you're
what
saying that even those who were voting on it did not realize that they were voting for a new constitution?
until I told them.
Wow.
So I'm not surprised that people walk about President Barbados doesn't have a constitution. They don't tell you anything. Something as momentous as putting a new
Oh
constitution
my
in place for Barbados to
gosh.
become a republic was not told to the people of this country. I
Oh my gosh. So we really do have a constitution. Oh my goodness. Because someone here, I see ISIS was saying, is it a charter we have?
no, we had a charter, and then we passed the constitution on the 6th of October 2021. They had the
The 6th,
charter
guys, it was passed the 6th of October. Listen, we need to pray for this man Caswell here, we need to pray for this man Caswell, and we need to come out tomorrow, because this is wrong. I don't care what political party. What is going on here. This is since July 30th. I've been sitting here, and this is just, sometimes it feels like I get a headache. This is totally wrong, because they're intelligent people who are saying there's no constitution. It's not just nobody who can read. People who believe they understand law and everything, saying there's no constitution. But now we're hearing it was passed on October 6th with one dissenting voice as well. Why wasn't this told to the people?
they didn't want the people to know. It's as simple as that. Go on the Parliament YouTube channel and type in Senate debate 6 October 2021, and you will see the debate. I was the second speaker. I don't know how to cut the YouTube videos, and I would have cut it ever since and put that out there. But I told them, I said to them, "Look, you do not have the right to do this. You're wrong. You got to tell the people we should have a constitution by us, for us. You shouldn't." I said, "Look, they were passing a constitution." And I said in that debate, I said, "Look, you have a constitution review committee. headed by Marion Williams. And that committee had not reported yet. And he passed the constitution before the committee report. I spoke all about that. And then I remember saying that, but we have a central banker chairing a committee that's dealing with law. But, she was born Marion Motley. So you look surprised. So she was Marion Williams then, but her middle name was Motley. So I asked the connection. My understanding that there is. So they were being paid to come up with a new constitution and do all this kind of stuff and be passed the constitution without and now they set up another one and the quest that one.
So somebody's asking us here, hold that point, because I was wondering about this too. So somebody says, so what about a commission set up for the constitutional review? If we have a constitution already, what are they doing now then?
Let's just have a new one, because this one probably was just a stopgap measure. You see, the constitution, it was done on the Prime Minister's agenda. She wanted it done on the 30th of November.
I got you.
I even complained about that because I said in the Senate, and they got ruled out of order when it was trying to say, because the president knew where it was coming from. I said, look, years ago, there was a man in the city called Motley. And the Prime Minister, the Right Executive Barbados, could not get Motley out of the city. So he said, if he can't get Motley out of the city, he's going to get the city out of Motley. And Barbados abolished local government. And they said, and no Motley granddaughter. And the president cut me and said I'm attributing improper motives to a member of the other players. And I said, but Mr. President, you remind because I said nothing yet. I was going to say that she was trying to take Barbados out of independence. But since you said that, you can't say so. I'm not going to say it. And that was it. But that was my belief, that the independence was done, Republic there was done to de-emphasize Barrow and his contribution. I made that point in the debate. And all of that was happening. And the people of Barbados did not know on that particular day that they were passing a constitution to Barbados.
October 6th. Why? And somebody here is asking, so why didn't the DLP hold a press conference about the matter?
They don't know either.
They didn't know. They didn't know. It was something that they didn't know. Wow. This is a whole set of bullyism that is going on, and I don't like bullies. I don't like bullies. I had a little Christian girl, a little girl from the church. She comes to our dance school. The father brought her and said some little girl beating her in the head all the time, right? And the child's grades dropped from 90s to 60s, and the child come crying and know that daddy knows the girl is going to beat her. I said, let me tell you something. Daddy knows about it now. He's going to go to the principal and talk to the principal, right? And they're going to contact the girl's mother. But let me tell you, when school starts back and that child comes and hits you, make sure they hit you first. You're going to fold your hand and you're going to deal with that bully. I told her that. The little girl looking at me. I said, listen, I know you're from a Christian home, okay? But you can't just allow people beating in your head. Your grades drop about 30 points. I said, raise your hand and give them one lash. Bajan term. In Jamaica, would have said, thump them. You understand? And I'm saying to us, get out. Do not let nobody bully you. What are you talking about? This is nonsense. I don't care what party you're from. You must have a sense of self pride, man, and something about yourself. Something about yourself that you don't sit down. This is what your ancestors died for and fought for. All the things that they did. Look at your ancestor Errol Barrow. He'll be turning in his grave right now at this. Everything that and listen, I hope I'm in the country for independence to see if they come and try that nonsense again. And she was doubling down on it and talk about, oh, it they will pick this up for review about Independence Day and removing Independence Day and all that. Listen, Major, let me tell you, put some fire in your eyes. And you don't have to be burning down no city and all of that. You understand? Peacefully, as you know how to do as Bajans. Peacefully fight them. Get up and fight them. Let the maroon blood run in your vein. And get up and fight them. You don't say allow bully people. They're beating you. That's all they're doing, beating the poor and getting up and acting like this thing is their thing. This country belong to them. This don't belong to them. Take back Barbados. Rise
But
up and take it back.
Marcia, let me read something for you. I'm going to read section 4 of the Barbados, the Constitution Amendment Act of 2021. It's the Constitution Amendment number 2 Act of 2021. I'm just going to read section 4. 4.1 says, the independent order is revoked, which is the Barbados Independence Order, which gave us the Constitution from England. But it says, that it goes on to say, but the revocation of that order shall not affect the validity of the Constitution set out in the schedule to that order. And then it goes on to say, the Constitution referred to in subsection 1 shall be altered in accordance with the provisions of section 49 thereof, in the manner and to the extent set out in this act. And on the appointed day, which would have been the 30th of November 2021, the Constitution so altered shall become the Constitution and supreme law of Barbados. Section 4 of the Constitution Amendment Act. People did not see it. People, I mind you, I find a lot of senators did not read their papers. They listen to what they said in the lower house, they get up and talk foolishness and without referring to any clause in the legislation to show you what it's saying. I read the thing. So I said, but look, you passed the Constitution today and they tell about nothing. So anybody doubts me, they can go and pick up it is the Constitution Amendment number 2 Act of
But you see, that's why people like Patrick King going around, and so many persons are saying that we need to understand and come out, as people say, rainfall or sunshine, come out tomorrow. Now this, go ahead.
People, including lawyers in Barbados, are saying they don't got a constitution. I even heard a lawyer with it. And
that there's no constitution. Yeah. Listen to this man here. Go ahead.
They didn't know that they had one.
But this guy is saying, this is a vein that I'm trying to get at here. Let me address this here, Mr. Caswell. This guy is saying, listen, when I really think that the DLP did not know about that, come on, I believe they did. You're missing the point, sir. Come on, I'm going to speak to you straight.
But government senators did not know. People who passed it did not know. On the very day that they passed it, they found out that they were passing the Constitution. So, if government senators did not know, what do you think the Dems would know?
When they don't even have anybody in there.
They had nobody in there, and the thing wasn't published in the official gazette and sent out to the public for everybody to see, like how they should normally do it. It was done in the most secretive way and in a great hurry.
You see, but because we get partisan, these are the comments that will happen when we partisan. We're talking about something so serious, and you are pointing a finger at the DLP. You realize how crazy this is, Mr. Brown. I'm sorry, I don't like to pick on the people watching, but listen, think about it. How crazy this is. This is something as serious as our Constitution that we were duped into. And you're going to point a finger on another on a political party that was not even anywhere in the parliament or the part of the senators, nowhere, because they didn't have a seat. Do you realize what you're doing? And this is the kind of thing that will not progress this great country. This kind of thinking. It's a banding of need to come together, band together, find what we have in common and work with it, man. Oh, how you gonna blame the DLP for this now? Come on. Nonsense.
But when you have people that are so blind that they can only see red, that is the problem. They are only seeing red. And the only gospel they know is the gospel according to Barbados Labour Party. And they show it up. I recently went to the polyclinic in St. Philip, and the place was so stink. We had water inside the room that people had to stop going in there and sit on the outside. And this fella came on Facebook and attacked me because he's one of Barbados Labour Party minions. You know? So but mind you, attacks do not bother me as long as I am not lying. Or if you catch me lying and I don't realize I was lying, I will apologize.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And that day, I remember when we debated that bill. I said, look, why don't you take your time and do a proper constitution? Because within 4 days, you have 4 different drafts. They said the parliament is wrong, and they had to go back and set it back down again and do it wrong. So they had 4 different drafts. I said, why don't you take your time and do one? But listen to what came out in the objects and reasons of the bill. When you have a piece of legislation before Parliament, there's something. When you see the bill, a bill comes that has something called objects and reasons, and that tell you what the bill is about. And it said, this bill will alter the Constitution in order A, to provide for Barbados to become a republic with a president who shall be head of state of Barbados, and B, to provide for related matters. They made no mention of replacing the Constitution. Okay? They just call it a related matter.
Right, you
But if
see.
you did not read the bill, you would not know that this is what was going on.
Right. You see, that kind of behavior, people said it's slick. I saw somebody here talk about slick. You know, it's wicked. And that's why I have no. I'm telling you, if this is the behavior. I told you what I saw that Easter morning, and it has been a continuous trend. The same thing happened. I was told. I don't know if it is true, but happened when Rihanna became a hero, a national hero, that it did not go through the proper channels. And this is what you have to understand. You that are believe that you went and got your finger read or whatever you did to put that person in power, or that this government in power, and you can't look on it and see exactly what is going on. I think shame on you if you can't look to see what is happening to your beautiful country, where any kind of law, they are just floundering the law. They're doing whatever they want to do. Huh? Huh? Can you
You see,
imagine that? Go ahead, Caswell.
you know that they did not tell the people, and I could even send you a copy of the bill so you can see for yourself. They never told anybody that they were passing the new constitution. It just happened to read the act, the bill, then I realized that they were passing the constitution. And that is the bill that gave us a new constitution for Barbados. So when they said, oh, there's no constitution, because the people didn't believe that government would do something so underhanded.
But I wonder if people realize why people use the term dictatorship. I think sometimes people think that people just don't, they say, oh, well, it's because it's a female in power, then you are, attributing her strength to being a dictator. Some people tend to want to tell, some people think that, but when you listen to these things, what it sound like to you? You're bright Barbadians. You say you're brighter than everybody in the Caribbean. You have the free education. Barra made sure you had that, and it's true. You're bright. Bajans bright people. Even in Trinidad, my son is there doing in the engineering department, and he said, "Mommy, for some reason, everybody think the Bajans are bright. So you're bright, right? You're bright, and the whole Caribbean will give that to you. You're bright. Look at these scenarios now. What this look like to you? Tell me what this look like to you. People get up and do what the hell they want to do. Huh? We became a republic, and nobody, we never have no say about it. Them go and them change the constitution, and a lot of us, we just know that it changed. Hmm? The people on the committee that determine who's a hero, the people were complaining. No, but they didn't know. Them just it just announced. Nothing. I have
I'll
no
give
problem with me, and I'm
I'll
not
give
here.
you a joke. I'll give you a
Hmm.
joke. You know, the national heroes, when you become a national hero, this thing is done in advance and you get a medal to they give you this big medal and all national hero stuff. They had the boss sobers went to give her because they hadn't meant it for her.
I don't
It was
understand.
done so quickly. They had the sobers is only living national hero of Barbados, and they had to borrow his medal to make the presentation to her.
Look at this, because it was not again another thing that it was not done properly. It's like take even the CARICOM day. I look and saw all these other countries. Just look at things now, Barbadians. All other countries announced their CARICOM day. When did we know about our CARICOM day? Isn't it about probably 2 weeks before or something like that? They just get up and do whatever this is why I'm saying that something is wrong. And you're intelligent people, you're bright. Just look at all the scenarios. It's not about who like who or who don't like who. It's something is drastically wrong. You understand? And same thing with the $100 book grant, right? Just get up. We are going to have the march, so they announce the book grant the day before. And the same thing they come out with this man Prasad to put fear in people. What do you think, that we're idiots? You think people stupid? People will take that book grant and come out and march same way. Because that is nothing. That must about one book. You think that they take us a puppy show? You're right. Right? It's puppy show, and then people like, oh, she's they're so smart. That's not smart. That's being very deceiving, very deceptive, and very wicked. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because yeah, you're right. I think she was shocked. She wasn't dressed for it.
Mm-hmm. That came about yesterday. A cabinet minister told me that he knew nothing about it.
Yeah.
He heard it the night when it was announced. Believe you
Mm-mm.
me?
A cabinet
Can't,
minister did not know anything about it.
I wouldn't call his name on the thing, but they didn't know anything about it. It was just announced there, bam. You know, they feel this place is theirs. They can do what they like. That is why during COVID she took upon herself powers to to do anything that she wanted to do. As a matter of fact, one of the powers that she took upon herself was the power to control prices, and she hadn't control one. She'd control everything else, but she'd never control the single price.
Mm. I tell you, there's an article by Anthony Wood, and I want to say this about Anthony Wood. Anthony Wood was the MP for my community, for my area when I just came here, and I use him as a benchmark because he did so much work in this area, and I have to give Jack his jacket. I have to give Jack the jacket, right? He was BLP, and you would see him in the community, and he would be working in this Bel Air community here, okay, in St. Philip. And I was so disappointed. I'm so that they have another one down here now. This man is so lazy. I never see somebody so lazy and just a waste man. I call him a waste man. Completely lazy. Huh? Sit down like a big bullfrog. Does nothing for nobody down here. I went down to the beach and hear the old ladies talking, to saying that he dare not even come nowhere near them. You know those old those retirees that go to bed. They're so angry with him. He didn't even campaign for himself. Right? It's the same Mr. Wood campaign for that big waste man like a big bullfrog. And that's how I feel about it. Very upset. Right? And right in my community. And I went off track talking about him. But anyway, Mr. Wood, there's an article here, and it says from Mr. Wood today, and it says, I want to read just the second paragraph. Any NIS reform should be preceded by the government correcting its high-handed decision to write off close to 2 billion owed to the NIS and making an arrangement to recapitalize the NIS to the tune of 2 billion via a realistic payment plan. The money should not come from taxation on struggling Barbadians. Right? Reforming the NIS will be burdensome to some Barbadians, and thus it is incumbent on the Prime Minister and other capable members of Parliament to lead the discussion on the subject. It is indisputable that the misguided action of the current administration in removing almost 2 billion from the balance sheet of the NIS exasperated its financial problems and hastened the search for reform measures to improve the viability of the NIS. Therefore, the few resilient patriotic Barbadians who are fighting against the NIS reform measures announced by the Mia Mottley administrations are on solid ground. The few resilient, and I know there are lots more of you out there. Make sure you come tomorrow. Make sure you come tomorrow. I hope Mr. Anthony Wood would come tomorrow. Don't just write the article, but come out, show your face. Right? Come out and show your face. Yeah?
Well, I know who can come out. Me. I will be there. As I
Yes.
pointed out to you, I point out to them, the measures do not affect me. My pension will not be reduced or enhanced by these measures. A lot of you will suffer as a result, but I am over the age where it will affect me. As I tell people, when people tell me, I say, no, I'm much older than that, but I don't look so. And but I am not fighting for me. I am not fighting for anything to benefit Caswell Franklin. I am fighting so that the people of Barbados will not continue to be duped by an administration who broke every law to get into office, broke every rule to get into office. I do not know why Barbadians wouldn't open their eyes and realize that they have been tricked. I suspect they might be embarrassed to admit it. But there's no shame in being deceived. The shame is on the side of the deceiver. So stand up and let them know, well, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Do not allow them to fool you again. That is all. That is all I can tell you. Go out there and stand up for your children. Stand up for the benefits that you should have gotten. You paid into a national insurance scheme, expecting when you reach a particular age, you will get X dollars. Some people actually now, since national insurance has this portal that can calculate your pension for you, people know how much they were planning they were going to give them. how much they were going to
Mm-hmm.
get, and they planned their retirement along that line. Now to find out that we can't do it, so because if I claim early, I can lose 9% as opposed to 6. And in some instances, when you if you claim too early, but the amount of the deductions, they will not allow you to retire early because you will get your pension will be less than $243, which is the minimum national insurance pension. So they will not even allow you to retire early. Don't care what the position is. The only way you could go early is if you were, and in a position like this, is if you were declared medically unfit.
Mm-hmm.
And to be declared medically unfit through national insurance is like pulling hen's teeth. And to make it very difficult for you, I've had a case that goes on for years. The lady goes in the bus and sit down and pass out. And the bus basically get the end of this journey, the bus driver wakes her up and says, brother, she can't even get up, I'll call the ambulance. Walking through oysters and tumble down. And they're saying that she's still fit. And refuse to pay her. So national insurance people are overzealous in guarding the national insurance fund. But what they can't be overzealous in doing is guarding against the politicians. And now, if you stand up and say anything, you're going to be working for a board, so you'll be out through the door. Because all they did with the legislation is to make sure that they can have the staff. Okay, no, I'm saying that I now remember something. We had a lot of people, even in the Senate and including the President of the Democratic Party, saying that there was no reference in the legislation to 68. What they didn't understand is that there was no need to put that in the legislation because the order that they were made. So the legislation only said, let me find it for you. The legislation defined pensionable age in section 2 of the act. And it goes, if you have noticed, it says pensionable age means each age corresponding with the period prescribed as set out in Schedule 1. So they will tell you in when you reach so much years, you will go to 66, 66, 67 and a half, and then 68. That is in the schedule. It is not in the act. But the act says that the age is prescribed in the schedule. So when people read it, they didn't see it anything, they just went on. And I'm surprised that a person who teaches law and is the president of the Democratic Party did not read this carefully enough to realize that. I'm shocked. They didn't put pension age is now 68 in the Amendment Act. They put it in the schedule. And then they said in the act, pensionable age means each age corresponding with the period prescribed as set out in Schedule 1. So that's where the pension age goes up. So when people saying, oh, we talking rubbish because there's nothing in the act didn't say. The act tell you where to go and find it. Read it. You see, I don't like when people get up and read this legislation. I make comments on the legislation, having not read them, or only hearing somebody say something and rush off with it. Because
Right.
some people ask me about this, and a person called me, and I had to tell them that no, check the definition section. The definition section of every act is usually section 2. Read there and see what terms the act means. And I tell you, check the schedule 1. So the age gone. Yeah.
Yeah, well, my lordy, I tell you, Caswell, we're gonna just stay on a couple more minutes because we want people to get a good rest. I know you were overseas. We have quite a few people on here, Bajans who are overseas as well. But those of us here, we going out tomorrow,
I going.
right? Yeah.
I'm going.
Uh,
I'm there.
someone saying here, shocking. They need to support the march and head over to there. Again, the Dems need to stand shoulder to shoulder with the people of Barbados on this issue. I think so as well. But people need to understand. When you hear people crying out like that, you need to take stock. You need to focus in, right? Focus in. If you care about the people, you should focus in. And yeah, and um somebody said, Caswell, can you please speak some more on what the new NIS law means to overseas Bajans? This lady is overseas.
Well, depend on where you are because Barbados has some arrangements with Canada and some other countries where you can use the contributions earned in those countries to help you to qualify in Barbados and vice versa. However, if you are in the United States and some other countries that don't have that arrangement, if you left Barbados, let's say with 700 contributions, knowing that when the time comes you can get your pension, you will not get it now because it goes up to 750. So if you have 500, you're going to go and look for another 250 contributions to increase it by 50%. So I know of people who decided, well, look, I'm going to secure my pension in national insurance, and they can go and seek my fortune elsewhere because I'm a politician and people gang promote and people, so I leave in. But the security pension here, so they thought.
Mm-hmm.
No, unless you are over 60, you don't get a pension. They will give you a grant and that's it. That is not fair
Mm-hmm.
because you qualified for a pension. And these people pass legislation
Mm-hmm.
to unqualify you.
Mm-hmm.
That is taking away your property. According to the Constitution, in order to take away somebody's property, you will amend the Constitution because money is property. So when you decide that a fellow who can't get a pension now because he don't have 500 contributions, you have breached his constitutional rights. You took away his right to property because he was entitled
Right.
to that money when he reached, and you take away that right. So even this act should have had the constitution amending majority. At least that's my belief. But the lawyers were arguing, and I don't want to argue with a lot of these lawyers because they tell me we had a constitution, and they did when it passed. I had to tell some of them I was there. I voted against it. I had the dubious distinction of the only one, because I understand other people in the law house didn't come to the house that day because they could be associated with it. Rather than speak up, they stayed away from the house. They weren't overseas, you know. So trust me,
Mm.
only we can do something about this, right?
Yeah.
If you have more than the 750 contributions and you're overseas, no problem. You can apply and get your pension, and you will even tell them where to send it, and they will send it overseas for you. But if you don't have the 750 contributions, when your time comes, they will have stolen your money too.
Mm.
Only,
But this
only,
person is saying, what recourse is there? Recourse is there for persons who had just made the 500 contributions.
there's no recourse for you. Sad to say, unless you can go to court and fight them. But again, people might criticize me for this, but I do not trust these courts. The Prime Minister is responsible for appointing judges. Don't care that you have a appointments committee and all kind of thing. The Prime Minister still has the final say. And we had some appointments recently that didn't go through that process. They get a lot of things and said, oh, the Prime Minister give up some of her rights and allow a judicial appointments committee. But yes, somebody want a judge to appoint somebody without going to the judicial appointments committee, because the judicial appointments committee does not take away the power of the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister got them. So we had a judge, some judges appointed recently that didn't go through that process. So I don't trust the courts in Barbados. I am very sad to say I don't trust them. I had a case in court now when Martin was Attorney General. I have not seen the judge yet. The Attorney General now, he heard about it when he was in opposition. And he told me, okay, don't worry, I'm going to fix that for you when we get power. Because I can be Attorney General. But then because I spoke up against the government, he won't fix it. But I was supposed to shut up, and because they owe me money, so I must shut my mouth. So because I didn't shut up, I ain't getting my day in court, or I ain't getting the compensation that was due to me.
Somebody asking, what about a class action lawsuit?
You don't need a class action lawsuit. You just need one fellow to go ahead, because we are not jurisdiction that have these class action lawsuits. If you have an interest, if you have a standing, the lawyers that they call it, then you can go by yourself. You don't need a class action. Any one man could apply. Any one woman could apply. If you have an interest, if you have standing, and at least I dare say everybody who pays national insurance have standing.
I think
as
yeah.
somebody is
Go
saying,
ahead.
CG, if you apply 60, that's 60% of your pension gone. No, depends on how much money you earn. They might not allow you to claim an early pension, because you will fall below $243. The national insurance maximum pension is 60% of your maximum insurable earnings. The maximum insurable earnings now is $5,120, and I think that is the case. I look at my book, the double yes, $5,120. So the most money you will get if you contributed at the maximum for all these years. Let me see, 5,000, 5.
Okay. Caswell dropped off, or is it me? Can you hear me, guys? Okay, he's right back on.
Oh, good.
Oh,
If you,
yeah.
the maximum pension that you will get, if you contributed for all these years at the maximum, is $3,000, $3,072. But remember that it only went up to $5,120 last year or something like this. So your pension would be based on the lower maximum insurable earnings, which would have been 4,000 or something. I can't remember, 4,880, 4,880. Right? So that's 4,880 times 60% equal $2,928. But you had to have been contributing at the maximum level for all those years. Now, what is 63% of that? Times, that's 2928. 2928 times 63% equal. That's $1,800. 1844.64. So you got 2928 minus 1844. 4 from 8. 4 from 8. 9 from 9 is 0. So you will only be able to get $1,084, 1084 a month. And that
Mm.
1084 is, come on, calculator, don't give up on me now.
I thought you were doing that in your head.
1084. My head is good, but not that good. Times 12 divided by 52. Um, you will get $250 a week. I can cut it. You see, so oh, yeah, I don't know if I'm still on. You know, so you will lose that type of money forever. Because when you
Mm.
reach, you know,
Right,
when
right.
you know that you reach 67, we're going to give you a full pension anymore. You will continue getting pension at that lower level until you die.
Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. Right. And someone, I was there, and someone today someone saw me in town, and they said, but um anyway, I'm getting mine. The person said, I retire in 3 years, I'm going to get mine. I don't, and I asked them, I said, so what do you say to the person who will, if you are in their position, in their position, you're expecting to retire in 3 years, and now realize that it's going to be another, what, say another 8 years, how would you feel? He stopped and was thinking about it, and that's part of it, that we're a bit selfish. Once mine, I'm fine. He said, but that won't come into effect now. That's many years. I said, but that's all of those young people that you see walking along here, they're going to be affected.
But look,
Because we, yeah, go ahead.
some of those young people are working for the government and the government is not paying their contributions. So they will not get a pension either. So down the road, when they probably find another job outside of the government, start paying contributions, they might not have the 15 years
Mm-hmm.
because government right now is employing young men and calling them private contractors and not paying contributions for them. I challenged Minister Jordan on Brassard's program a few Sundays back, and he said they made a mistake. But they realized they made a mistake, but only fix it for some people. There's still people out there who are employed,
Mm-hmm.
who are employees by the
Mm-hmm.
government, still not paying national insurance contributions. Because as an employee, you have no responsibility to pay your contributions. The employer becomes an agent of the National Insurance Department, and that agent is supposed to collect the money out of your salary and then put it their piece and send it all to national insurance.
Mm-hmm.
This government has cheated, has broken the law, deceived us. Everything that they do wrong to pass a constitution, and then tell nobody. And I think it's when I pointed out to people that the constitution, they cursed me, because they were so hell bent on their narrative that there's no constitution. When they show them, I say, well, look, there is. I don't care.
But it is the same thing about the selling out of the of Bridgetown and East Coast and so on. If we did not have that document, which is why I said to the person, I said you have to show it. You just can't come and because people are going to say you made it up, but it was right there in color. It's all there, and we can see exactly what is happening. But we're not really glued into what's going on, but it's happening, and we're all here so shocked now, but it's already happening,
No, but
just
you
like the
see,
constitution and everything else.
when I was a member of the Senate and I complained that the government did not give us advance notice when they were passing bills, people cursed me. And so people got desensitized to that. Ah, he only making noise and things, passing bills. Stuff. No, they're finding that it's only me that didn't get the notice. Them may get it either. So the government keep on doing things. If people
Mm,
stood up and said, "Well, Caswell was right. Don't do this to him," because there were two opposition senators in Parliament. We had to read every piece of legislation that came through Parliament because the government had 12 senators, but opposition only had two. So what the government could do, they could tell their people, betray you, we want you to concentrate on this piece of legislation. The other three do this, the other do something else. So then they will get up and speak. But I had to speak on all, or Crystal had to speak on all, because we had nobody else. So when they
mhm,
put a bill before us the night before, they expected us to be in there and to debate because they didn't want debate. And the people of this country did not cry out. You know, there was a boy called Niemöller, I think his name is Martin Niemöller. He says when they came for the Jews, I was not a Jew.
mhm.
And when they came for Caswell, it was not a Franklin. And now they come for me. Don't wait till they come for you. Stand up now. Come up, well, they come for you already. But you better stand up now for your national insurance because that is coming for you. This is the time they're coming for you now. When they were attacking everybody else, you didn't speak up. You didn't stand up. You said, well, Lord, tell me. No, national insurance is you. National insurance is everybody who works in Barbados.
Mhm.
And they're coming for
Mhm.
you. So
Yeah.
if you don't stand up
Yeah.
now, you have only yourself to blame. When down the road you realize that you can't live on the pension that you thought that you were going to live on when you retire.
Mhm. Mhm.
They come
Mhm.
for you. They have come for you.
Yes. That's
Because when
it.
they came for
So.
it was not a trade unionist. So I knew nothing.
Mhm.
You know, they came for the Jews. I was not a Jew. But then they came for me. They have now come for you. And you must
Right.
realize that they come for you. Because they come for your pocket. And they come for your pocket in retirement when you have the least chance of making money.
Mhm.
Yes, sir, Mr. Ruben German says, but there was no one to speak for me. There are some ones to speak for you now. They're coming for you. So that those ones that speak for you are the people who will march. So be one of those people who march.
Hmm. Someone said that you were warning us a long time now, but Bajans would not listen, and it's so true. It is so true. Like some people on here just say all you do is complain. That's what they're saying. All you do is complain. In fact, I mean, and then they someone went on brass tacks actually. Every time I'm supposed to address this, I forget. And said that the march is, it's filled with a lot of criminals and deportees and people, doing a whole lot of fear mongering. Somebody put it on my page. I was trying to find it before the show. And I really want them to come out and name who are the criminals that they saw out there and who are the deportees that they saw out there. I
No,
would really like to know that.
I don't care about that. A lot of these people
Mm.
call themselves Christians. And you remember Jesus went among those people. You remember?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. So I'm not better than Jesus. I can't claim that I want to be better than Jesus. I can follow exactly what he did.
Mm-hmm.
I go among those people, and Jesus wasn't ashamed to do it, so why should I? So if you find criminals, that's your business. I find people who are willing to stand up. You mean, look,
Mm-hmm.
people go to jail, and when you're poor, you're always a criminal. But if you got money, like Donville, when you come back out, you're right to the airport for him.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't a criminal no more. And I don't want to vilify him. He did his time. So people who did their time or who you believe to be criminals and the system didn't catch them or the system caught them. If the system didn't catch them, they're not criminals. If the system caught them and they went to jail, they pay their debt to society. So why? Because a fella paid his debt to society, he can no longer be part of society because you say so.
Mm.
Who are you? Who made you the righteous judge? Look, Bunny was a member of the Senate. I keep on telling people this. I I they have this debate about domestic partnership and all kinds. I said, look, I don't care what you do in the privacy of your home. That's your business. You have your judge to answer when the time comes. But I'm not he. I'm not going to judge you for it. I'm not going to do his work and mine. That is his job as the judge. The Lord will judge you, whether you believe there's a Lord or not.
Mm-hmm.
You will find out that there's one when the time comes for judgment. But I am not he. So I am not going to judge you, and I'm not going to judge anybody on that march if they came a fall of the law some time ago. If you are on the march and you're breaking the law, then I will have to speak up, speak to it. But nobody in our marching can break the law. Everybody, last time the police commended us for how we behave.
Mm-hmm.
How we,
Yeah.
the orderly protest that we have.
But then
So
they're
as
saying
much
that
as
there were
I
criminals
ignore
there.
them, ignore them. I will ignore them. But let me
Correct.
tell you something. I want you to ignore them too. Because they are trying to find every which way to support the Barbados Labour Party, their narcissism, even though it will hurt them. They are so
Mm-hmm.
blind, blind, that they would allow the Barbados Labour Party to destroy them because they think that they are bees.
Mm-hmm.
That is the level of idiocy that we have going on the place calling yourself bees. I ain't saying you don't become a Barbados member, I'm a Barbados Party support people, but they're with an open mind. And then you can promote and leave the other people alone. You want to criticize everybody else. And nobody can criticize the Barbados Labour Party. Well, who you think you
Mm-hmm.
are?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Look,
You know, and some people, somebody is saying here that he's alleging that some of these same people wine and dine with criminals in Parliament Yard. I guess it's the same thing that you're saying.
they have
You
that,
know. But
they
then
had
they're.
drug lords in Parliament, and the person was criticizing me for walking about who they say is criminals. Why the man want to criticize the government for doing that? Okay,
Yes.
be even-handed. Go and tell the administration that they shouldn't bring criminals to Parliament. State opening of Parliament. People like permanent secretaries, that kind of people, the space small, they can get a seat. Captains of industry and business couldn't get a seat. But you can find a seat for a drug lord. And these people want to chastise me.
Hmm.
Allah, there is so much smoke in your eye before you can come and take out one out of mine. My eyes are clean. I ain't got no more in mine. So don't worry to look for it. But take the group.
the thing is that even the police respects the fact that people have done their time. They're giving back to society. Yes, they might have done something wrong. Even the police acknowledges that and recognizes that, because if they were actual criminals that were actively, criminal elements in society, they're walking side by side with the police. Some of them, their names are submitted to speak, and the police says, "Oh, okay," and they know them. It's not an issue. So why is us in this Christian society would not allow those people to put their heads up? We decide that we are going to keep putting our foot in their neck. We're behaving just like what the government is doing. Is it that we deserve that kind of government then, because that's how we are?
But it will appear so. But trust me, those bigoted people will never set my agenda. Never.
Mm-hmm.
I don't look up to them. I don't look down to them. I don't look across at them. I don't look at them, period. And if you are so blind as to twist everything because it does not suit your political agenda, and it just shows you're an idiot. And there's a saying that I saw years ago. It says, when you argue with a fool, he is doing the same thing. So I will not argue with them.
Right. It makes you an idiot too.
You know?
Listen, guys, are you marching tomorrow? This is the thing here. Are you marching tomorrow? Are you marching tomorrow? You're going to stand up to the government bullies. Come out to the march tomorrow, right? We're starting right there at Kensington, which is right near Massey. And you're going to see us there. Wherever you see the truck, you come around that area. That's where we're going to be. Tomorrow, God willing, we start off with a word of prayer, because we seek to be peaceful. We don't need to burn down any place. We don't need to deface the place. We don't need, we're going to obey the police. They're helping us. They're on our side. They told me today they'll be out there to protect us. Okay?
Marcia,
That's what. Yes.
today I was at my office. I was seeing people. The phone rang. He said, "Mr. Franklin, are you in the office?" I said, "Yes." He said, "I come into your office and I got some water for the march tomorrow." I thought if I can bring a case of water, I might bring 3 of those cases for a price. Might have got 35 in a case.
Wow.
And they're too much to hold in my car. So we got the support from bright thinking people. He said, "Look, I bring in water for you." And when he came, I was seeing somebody. I didn't even see him when he came. He just brought him and dropped him off and gone. He wasn't looking for any accolades. He wasn't looking for the thank yous or nothing. He came, dropped him off with my secretary, and moved.
There you go. And it's the same thing with the guy when he said, I saw it on here, he says he's coming back with his cooler with water tomorrow, and so on. So we're going to be out there. Come early. Those of you who can help with, making sure we get signatures for the petition. We will have some sheets, and we will, you will be able to ask people on the side of the road, people in the march itself, to physically sign the petition, which is going to go directly to the president, because now everything is over into her hands. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, right? Those of you who can be marshals, you come out, come tomorrow and help us to keep order. Tomorrow, that would be great. To be great as well, to come out and help us to keep order tomorrow, right? And we start at 10 o'clock, right? But you can, those who you want to help, at least, by 9:30 you come out. I know somebody was saying we start too late, but it's Saturday morning. You give people time. If going forward, if we have to do this again or anything similar, you want us to start earlier, then just say so. The march was paid for by you. The march was paid for by you. Okay, and I tell you this, Mr. Franklin, we will have something. I'm being told that we might have even something left back for something else, and that's what they underestimate the people. They underestimate you, right? They underestimate you. So, guys, come out tomorrow. Bring somebody with you, and let it be bigger than the one last week, because we need to be able to represent. And we're not. It's not. This is not against any particular political party. Whoever was in government and they're doing this kind of craziness, we needed to march, right? You see what happened? You guys marched, came out in your numbers and marched for the merchants the last time. Remember that?
Yeah.
And now you
March to disadvantage themselves. March to
march.
disadvantage
Well,
themselves.
it's that. What is this? Effects of slavery on us? Come on, Bajans, we're better than this. We marched. It was something that was going to hurt us. This now is for us. And you see the newspaper? I haven't seen it yet, but people have been sending me messages where the merchants are saying, listen, forget this whole, they're going to pass all the prices on to the people. Have you heard that, Mr. Franklin,
But
before we
I
close?
don't know because I didn't get a chance to read the paper today because my meeting started quite early. And so I usually read them at night when I finish here.
Yeah.
I
So
will check them.
listen, yeah, Kamhar, somehow Kamhar, when I was at the police and they were commending us so nicely, and bigging us up to people, and I mean they were really commending us. It crossed my mind that what if people come in and start to create a problem,
Oh,
and
the
so
police.
it was interesting. The police, but they told me that Mrs. Weeks, we're here to protect you. All right, so we're not going to get into any problems with anybody. Focus on the police and let them deal with it, because we need to keep going out there. We need to keep going out there, and if we don't, if we get involved into all kinds of things, then they would take a longer time, or they probably don't want to give us a permit, right? Yeah.
When the
So
nurses march, when the
yes.
nurses march, they had people strategically located along the street and walking up there cursing me, and I just kept my head up and would not respond because I am not going to um, give them the satisfaction of let to cursing them. I curse my boy, but I curse without spreading fools. The men got
Mm,
they got nothing in them. They never got common sense. So I ain't gonna curse with I ain't gonna curse an idiot. He want pity, not cursing.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
if they get out and they heckle or they do whatever they want to do, we will ignore and do what we are doing.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because I don't respond to clowns. You know,
Yeah. So
they
tomorrow
feel that they
morning,
have.
go ahead.
No,
Go
I say
ahead.
if
Go
they
ahead, Mr.
feel.
Franklin.
No, I say if they feel that it is their role to be disruptive, we will just walk past them and let them in there,
Mm-hmm.
ignore them, and we will move on. Because there was going to be hecklers. There will always have people who oppose you. And if you feel
Mm-hmm.
because somebody will oppose you and speak up, you will never speak because somebody will always oppose you. If you started every week giving them money, there was somebody will come and say that you thief it. There will always somebody that come and oppose you. Don't care whatever you do. Don't care how good you do, they will oppose you. So do what you know is right.
Yes. Yes. And we end on that note. Somebody says, we get you. We will take your advice and be peaceful. That's it. We can make our voices be known, and we can represent and be peaceful. And that's what we start with, a word of prayer, and we go down the road. And we listen. We just let Father lead us, because he's fighting for us. God is fighting for us. Yeah, and I just want to end with a little prayer. Though I hope I don't offend anybody, but we're gonna end with a little prayer this today, and just commit tomorrow. So Father, we just commit tomorrow to you. We pray over everyone who will be out there for a safe march tomorrow. that you will guide us and you will lead us. I pray specifically over Caswell, over Lynette, and all those who have been leading, oh God, that you will put a special protection around them. Father, that every one of us tomorrow, that we will walk together in unity. There will be oneness of heart and mind. We thank you, Father. Amen. All right. God bless you. See you all tomorrow, folks. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Bring your flag or buy your flag. Yes.
Good
God
night, everybody.
bless. Good night.